Gauche en 38, pas corde. Gauche en 38, pas corde. 120 mètres, attention, frein au glisse. Droit 128 millions, pas corde. 150 mètres. Droit 150 gris.
Short gravel, hairpin left, double tight, scoop happen. 2 right minus tight. 4 left plus over crest open. Line. 6 left plus long, tight a little, open.
Hit the overcrest. Droite 124 moins, ferme 110 millions. 124 moins, ferme 110, pas corde de rail sale, 90 plus millions, pas corde de rail sale. 80 mètres zone gris, droitier sur un gros frein, avant gauche 134 pas corde, gauche 134 pas corde, pour gauche 118 millions tard, petit gris, gauche 118 millions tard, 150 mètres.
Double tight. And slide right 40. Keep left over press, 2 right minus tight, 1 tight. 20, lane short gravel, hairpin left, double tight, scoop tap, and 2 right minus tight. 4 left plus over press, keep left over 100, press, and slide right over press, 120. Flat, 6 left long, tight, sneak, opens, extra long, 60, slide left over press, 120, chicane, 4 left minus tight, 1 right minus.
50, all right, pull up, pull. Don't go in there, don't go in there. All right, pull, in the overcrest.
Som inte fem uppstig. Är vi stopp på byte eller? Nej. Förväntar ni på kortfyr på väg till Lindur. Full höger i omslag. För att det är tidigt 3 mil.
It's for the highs and lows. We went in overnight, second overall, came out this morning.
Well, Ken, it was all going so well. I guess if there's one word that sums up this morning, it's, if you'll forgive the pun, deflated.
Well, same letter, disappointed. Yes, it's from the highs and lows of it. We went in overnight, second overall, came out this morning. First stage we were second fastest, next stage we were fastest, took the lead again, and then picked up the puncture. Lost 45 seconds, dropped us to third. Now, can't be too disappointed. We came for podium, but when you suddenly lead an event and it's taken from you, it's that disappointment. But we're in a safe third position. We can try to fight back and hope that one of the cars in front runs into a little bit of a problem to boost us up. But again, as I said yesterday, we're a customer. We're leading the other manufacturers. We're still in a podium position. But Pet is a little bit deflated out there at the moment, but maybe out now after the remote service and boost him up a bit.
What sort of conditions can we expect through the afternoon run through the stages?
Well, much like yesterday, the stages, they've limited the cutting. It's going to be dirtier. The safety crews are out there modifying the notes to where it'll be, but it's more of a level playing field. Obviously, the first cars this morning had the advantage of a clean stage. It'll be a little bit dirty. There'll be a bit of dust and gravel out on the road there, so it'll be a caution this afternoon on the junction. But they've all the leading boys got safety crews who'll be making a note. So, but there'll be a pace on there. I mean, the Fords are going well. The Avimati behind us, albeit 40 seconds behind. We'll try to close the gap with the boys in front, but it's a tall order. Now you can see how close it is. That between Danny and Sebastian, they're taking 1 or 2 seconds off each other, and we're 40 seconds back trying to get up to there. But we won't give up, and we're determined to hold the podium and hopefully move on up.
Ken, it's my fault. I started it by saying you were deflated. I sense you are a bit down, but hey, you're still on that podium position, and there's a way to go yet.
As a team, we're happy, but as I say, it hurts a little bit when we're potentially going for our first win of 3 years in the team, and it might have been taken away from us. We can't write it off yet. You know, it's as I said, there's only 2 cars in front of us, and problems could happen. And hopefully, we've had our bad luck, and that will be good luck. But we'll see you later.
All right, good luck this afternoon.
Thanks.
We're here with David Rich's mini-team principal. David, a thrilling morning. The lead has been changing hands left, right and centre, but now it's in the hands of Mini. How happy are you?
Well, with only 0.2 of a second in the lead, it's no time to relax, but certainly very happy with progress so far.
And as you say, just 0.2 seconds between Danny Sordo and Sebastien Ogier, so we must be set for quite a big battle this afternoon.
I think it's going to go right to the wire. I don't suppose it's going to finish this afternoon. I anticipate it going right down to tomorrow afternoon.
And if we move on to the big story of the morning possibly is Petter Solberg's puncture, but that's worked right in your hands.
Well, you know, everyone's misfortune is another person's fortune, but, you know, Petter was doing very well at the time, and I guess punctures are something that happened to us all on occasion, but I must say the tyres for us, the Michelin, have been superb, and we've, touch wood, not have any problems.
And generally speaking, how happy are you with the performance of the cars and your drivers this weekend so far?
No, we've been very happy. The cars have behaved very well. We've sort of made further progress from where we were in Germany, and it's sort of one step at a time for us. This is only our 4th rally with a brand new car, the Mini Countryman, and drivers are getting themselves match fit now, getting up on the pace, and you know, let's not forget Chris Meek, who's first time here and battling away with the Fords, not far behind Danny.
Exactly, the man Chris Meek, he's not managed to hold off Jari-Matti Latvala, but he's posting some very fast times there and holding off a challenge from Mikko Hirvonen.
Yeah, I think you'll see this afternoon. Remember, first time over this morning, Chris had a spin as well, being a little cautious with gravel on the road. I think you'll see his performance pick up during the afternoon.
And Chris is obviously has been mentored by the late, great Colin McRae. Do you see any similarities in his style? He's an exciting driver.
He is an exciting driver, and you know, we've all got great memories of Colin, and I think that Chris is a far more thinking driver, though. He's very mature for you know, for his experience.
And talk us through the plan for the afternoon, David.
Go as fast as we can.
Sven, halfway through Rally France, another exciting morning this morning with just 2/10 between your former driver and Sebastien Ogier. How are you seeing things from your point of view?
Yeah, we had a good morning. We had some very good times. We were 2.8 down when we started today. We're now a few tenths of a second down. I think Petter has fallen out of the battle because he had this flat tire, lost about 30 seconds. So it's going to be down to Danny and Sebastien now to make out who's probably going to win this event. But it could go to the last stage.
And you know how good Danny is on tarmac and here.
Yes, I mean, I think everybody knows that Danny is a great driver on tarmac. He's been always nearly second in the events that Sebastien Loeb won. So I know that he can go bring this to the end as a battle.
And what about Sebastien? What has he told you about? Is the car good? Is he happy? Is he confident ahead of this afternoon?
Yeah, Sebastien is very happy with the car and very happy, no problems at all. But he is, of course, also thinking about the championship, about our championship. So maybe here and there he is a little bit less taking risks than Danny, who, of course, drives to win this event.
And talking about the championship, of course, we can't dismiss Mikko Hirvonen. Are you keeping a very close eye on the battle for 4th, 5th and the 6th?
Yes, of course. I mean, every place that Mikko goes up is bringing him closer to Sebastien Loeb. So we are watching with a lot of interest how Chris is doing.
And what about Sebastien Loeb? Is he around today? He'll be keeping a very close eye on events.
I think Sebastien has gone into the stages to have a look to a few stages. Then he will come tonight.
Okay, thanks for now and have a good afternoon.
Okay, no problem. Bye.
But then again, drivers really do admit to that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like Petter. I mean, he's had, 5 years of bad luck now. I mean, but he really has been unlucky. We were just saying this morning, it's interesting how, but these three come up. But no, he's been quick. I mean, how close as he comes to winning rallies. It's just heartbreaking to see because we know how much it means to him. It's just, the start of the day, we were just saying before in the television off, it's all three of these guys that started the day. Petter's not won a rally for 6 years. Danny Sordo never won a rally. Mini haven't won a rally for, 40 odd years, and certainly not in the modern era of the WRC. And then, of course, Sebastien Ogier is trying to win his first home rallies. All three of these guys, they must have been desperate to kind of keep this battle going until the end, but that was just heartbreaking to see for Petter this morning.
Yeah, it really was. Well, anything can happen. It is Danny Sordo and Ogier we're watching very closely on this stage. Now, the difference between these guys is just 0.2 of a second. Let's just remind you of that. It's just the slightest of margins. It could be smaller, of course, but it's small enough, I would think. We'll get the splits up and running on this stage, and then we'll be able to chart how they go. But Danny Sordo is now on the start line and counting down to himself starting the stage. From what we can see from the shots that are coming in, the Mini looks fantastic actually on this coverage, just first to say. I really enjoyed watching the Mini cars going through the stages yesterday. Earlier on this stage, it was run as stage 9 I think this morning, where we kicked off proceedings. It was a lot earlier in the day, 23 minutes past 8 this went live. It was Ogier who set the fastest time then. 5 minutes 19.6 is the fastest time through this stage, as held by Monsieur Ogier from this morning.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see, as Colin said, just how much this has been cut up, and how much. Obviously, we're not seeing the horrible conditions we had last year, but still, a lot. If there is a lot of cutting, you're just going to get that loose kind of top layer of gravel on top of the tarmac. So it will be interesting to see. Soon get an idea once Danny gets into the stage, and he's under starter's orders now. Just a few seconds to go until he's away.
I'd love to, you'd love to be a fly on the wall. You're inside that car when the guys are absolutely on the start line. Colin, you've been at the start line sometimes commentating for us, and the absolute focus you can see on their faces, the co-drivers counting down and then off they go. It's just it must be an absolutely incredible feeling. You speak to some drivers and you ask them what's going through their mind, and they say we're trying everything we can to clear our minds and just concentrate on what the co-drivers are saying. That is all important. So Danny Sordo is underway now on stage 13 overall. He's got a job to do if he wants to hold on to that lead, because Sébastien Ogier straight away is going to be on the pace, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Bex. Ogier, he's not perhaps had it. I was thinking quite as easy as he was hoping after Sébastien Loeb went out. Maybe easy is a little bit of a strong word to use, but I think Ogier wasn't expecting the kind of challenge that he certainly had from the Mini team and Danny Sordo in particular. He's had a challenge as well from Peter Solberg. I think Ogier might just begin to feel the pressure this afternoon if things don't go his way. And we've seen what's happened in the past when Mr. Ogier felt a little too much pressure. So fingers crossed he can cope with it. I think he's got to make the most of this afternoon, because I do believe that Danny Sordo might struggle a touch with that gravel, and Ogier should be able to capitalise on that.
Ogier has to learn to cope with this pressure. This is the kind of pressure we're going to see throughout the rest of the season, and surely as well into next year. He's not been brilliant at coping with it, but now is the time to start to learn to be able to cope with that pressure. And if he gets through this successfully, then it really is a kind of notch down to him that he's been able to do it. From the footage we're seeing from the onboard camera from Danny Sordo's car, this stage is pretty much covered by trees for quite a distance. It is cutting up slightly. We're seeing quite a lot of mud, quite a lot of gravel in the cuts that the guys are taking, and they're bringing. You can see Danny Sordo bringing that gravel, that muck onto the road for the next car.
Yeah, it is incredibly technical. It's this big long climb, isn't it? Hairpin after hairpin, and very little margin for error. There is trees lining the whole thing as they climb their way up this sort of mountainside here, but it's very technical compared to some of them. A lot of very, very fast stages out there, but it's a lot more technical and tight, this one, isn't it?
We saw a lot of flowing sections yesterday, a lot of fast straights. A lot of the drivers, though, talking about, the use on the brakes, the heavy use on brakes of some of the drivers yesterday when they were braking coming into the corners. You're certainly seeing a lot of hairpins in the sections where Danny Sordo is right now. Interesting to see what the first splits are going to be. The first split for this stage comes in at 1.39 kilometres in. Now Sordo's into the stage, we're on board with him. Peter Solberg has already joined the stage, and we wait now for Ogier to go in, and we'll see what the differences are between them then. But what is going to be Peter's plan of attack this afternoon, guys? I mean, he's off the lead now by 40 seconds. What is going to be the approach this afternoon? PK,
yeah, well, my worry is that because he's obviously so desperate to get podium finishes as well, that is it more important to secure that podium finish? We'd all love to see him be able to fight for the win. It's just been so long, and just imagining what his reaction would be fantastic to see. And I'd love to see him build an attack and try and get back on terms with these two, because his pace has been incredibly quick. We've seen a few rallies recently where he's just not quite been on it, but he's been right on the money from the very word go this weekend. So I'd love to see him be able to. I just wonder, is that gap so big now that he just thinks it's too much of a risk? I mean, I think I'm going to say I hope he does, but I suspect that he may want to think about that podium as well.
And play it a bit safely. What do you think, Colin? He's feeling good in the car. The pace is there, as PK's saying, but he is in podium position at the moment. We know how important podiums are for the team.
Yeah, you know, the pace is there, you're absolutely right. Solberg has been bang on the pace this weekend, which is such a huge improvement on what we saw on tarmac from Solberg in Germany. But listen, 42, 43 seconds, he's got to not just be on the pace, he's got to be quicker than the pace of the others to close that. And that, as you say, Peaky, I think that's just too much to risk for Solberg. He's got a decent gap to defend between himself and Jari-Matti Latvala, too far to the boys in front. But he knows that the stages are rough. He knows that punctures are a possibility, because as we've said, he's picked up a few himself this year. So Solberg will keep on the pace. He won't up the pace, he'll keep on the pace, and if anything happens to the boys in front, he'll be in a position to capitalise on it. But he won't, I don't think, Bexley be able to catch them on speed alone. It'll take something to happen to the two in front for Solberg to get back into the battle.
Yeah, let's not forget, obviously, we're just watching Ogier now head off into the stage, and as you say, he's going to be hoping for, needing something to happen to one or both of these guys up front, and this battle is that intense that it could really easily happen. I mean, Danny and Sebastian are pushing each other to the absolute limit. It was 3 of them this morning, and you were just kind of waiting for something to happen to one of them, because you can't keep up that intensive pace. You're almost expecting somebody to hit a problem somewhere, because they're on the absolute limit here to try and stay in touch with it. Remember, they're looking at each other's split times all the way through, and they'll see if they're the odd tenth of a second down, it's going to edge them on even quicker. I mean, that's the thing, that it's competition that kind of raises them all to that next level, and this is why you often see these top 2 or 3 drivers sort of move off into the distance, I think, because they're so intense on each other's times that, through the...
The other thing you've got to bear in mind is that, Danny Sordo is just driving to the max the whole time, driving to where he can come, because he's getting those splits into the car.
Yeah, this is what we understand, he's no splits.
Right.
Well, remember they had an issue a few rallies ago, I think it was Finland, where every time the splits pinged into the car, something went wrong in the electrics and it dropped the engine power. So they're not willing to risk that again.
He's through, Colin. Sordo is through.
Okay, here we go. As I say, so Sordo is driving, if you like, blind and just as quick as he can. And we get messages from the team, but none of the official splits. Here we go. Let's see how he feels.
Now on the split we have, the first split for Ogier 0.1 slower than Sordo at the opening split.
Danny, second time through that stage. From the pictures that we were seeing, it was very, very loose in there. A little more difficult than this morning.
Some gravel in some top, so by the time it's faster than this morning, so we will see the others. I do my best, but it's really, really nice. I don't know if we are faster or not, but it's really, really nice.
He's rocking on, there we go. You know, when a driver talks like that, he's absolutely at one with the car in these conditions. Sordo is just, it's coming effortlessly to him, guys, and that's a great sign for Mini.
No, it's a fantastic sign, and maybe it's a good thing that he hasn't got splits in those in the car. Maybe that would distract him. He's just going at the pace he feels very good at. It's interesting to see. We're watching footage now from Ogier's car, from low down on Ogier's car. That's where you can get a real sense of speed, and where you can obviously see the gravel and the mess that's actually on the road. Those stones may look innocuous, but they could cause damage.
Yeah, and it's actually on a lot of the exits of these tight hairpins as well. That's where they're really sort of cutting inside, and some people taking different lines. It's on a lot of those exits of these hairpins where a lot of it's being thrown out, and that's where obviously you're on those slow speeds. You need the grip to kind of pull away again, and it's on sort of corners like that. A bit of gravel there as well, but of course Sebastian really is on it, and there are trees worryingly close to every single corner, aren't there?
There are, but he doesn't seem to care about that. He is putting his foot to the floor. Now the split we have, Ogier 0.1 up on Sordo. This is at 5.48 kilometres into the stage. Petter Solberg's going to be next. He's also up on Sordo at the final split by 0.2 of a second. But it'll be the time of Sebastian Ogier we're really watching. But interesting to find out what Petter's plan of attack is now, Cole.
Yep. Okay, he is in. Let's grab a word there. As he just puts his car into neutral. And, all those players are pretty calm. Not that. We've already mentioned battling with the two boys absolutely on the limit at the front. Here we go. Let's have a word with Petter. Petter, a fair distance between you and the boys in front. What is the plan now?
I just have to keep on driving as I've done all the time. No difference at all, because the car is working well, and for me it's just wait for something to happen. I have a spin, or I can't do anything else. But the car is working well, and I'm more police than
There we go, Petter Solberg, just waiting. Go ahead.
Chris Meek is stopped in the stage. He's not too far in. He's past the opening split. So he's just over a kilometre in. But Chris Meek stopped in the stage. We'll try and get some details on it.
Well, we were talking about Petter Solberg's bad luck before, but I have to say Chris Meek, I mean, certainly seeing Danny Sordo flying, and Chris Meek's been quick on every rally, but he's had the lion's share of bad luck, hasn't he, at the first few rallies for Mini.
So we don't have any pictures of that yet, Bexy, no?
No, we're not seeing any pictures of that. That's what I'm seeing on my tracking system right now.
Okay, that's desperate bad luck. Let's wait and see. Chris Meek always looking for 100% through the stages. He's very, very self-critical when he comes to stage ends, and I think there's a bit of pressure there. I think you're right, PK. I think he's seeing Sordo doing so well, and he's trying to push himself that extra little bit to get close to Sordo, and well, we'll wait and see what's happening there, but clearly not a good day for Chris Meek.
Okay, as soon as we get some information, we'll keep you up to date with that. And we're waiting now for the car of Sébastien Ogier to complete. Danny Sordo's time through that stage, just to remind you, was 5 minutes 25.5. On the final split we have, Ogier is 0.1 quicker than Sordo.
Okay, is this a fair gap, Bexy? Bit of a gap, maybe not.
Are you hearing anything?
No, that was worried me that front, just having a look around the car there. I thought there was something untoward with the wheels.
Exactly the same. No, not exactly the same time as Petter Solberg. 5:24.4. Ogier goes into the lead now.
Is that 4 lead changes we've had today? I've actually lost count. I know certainly the first 3 stages of the day, there was a change in lead. I mean, it's such an incredible battle today. And of course, just going back to the Chris Meek situation, that of course, horrible news for Chris and for Mini, but very good news for Mr. Hirvonen, who's struggling to make an impact on the times, but any drivers that stop ahead of him, that's also more championship points for Mikko Hirvonen. And at the moment, with Mr. Loeb on course for nil points in France, he's going to be desperate for every point he can get. We're actually looking at pictures of his teammate Latvala at the moment I'm calling this car the Batmobile this weekend.
I think a lot of people are. It does look very, very impressive in black. So Sébastien Ogier has taken the lead from Danny Sordo, but 0.9 is the separation between them. So it's still incredibly close, and I'm sure it will continue to be close throughout the afternoon. We are waiting to hear news in on Chris Meek, who we've seen stopped on the stage on our GPS tracking unit here in the studio, but we're on board with Jari-Matti Latvala as he makes his way through stage 13 overall.
You never know. If we do get pictures that drop back to Mikko, we may actually see him come... Oh no, he's past Meek's position now, unfortunately, but it'll be interesting to see... it does just say parks on this on the GPS, doesn't it? It doesn't say anything other than...
Well, we'll find out
so
very soon, I'm sure. But disappointment certainly for Chris Meek and Paul Nagel. They were looking forward to coming out to these stages this afternoon because they would be second run through, a bit more knowledge of the stages.
Yeah.
We're still not sure from the team yet. They know they're stopped on the stage. They're trying to find out. So as soon as we hear in from the team, we will let you guys know. You mentioned Mikko Hirvonen there. It is such a shame that we haven't seen more pace from Hirvonen today. Jari-Matti certainly on pace. We've seen some great times coming through from him, but Mikko's been nowhere near matching Jari-Matti.
No, it's strange, isn't it, though? I mean, you wonder how much of it's more about the sort of championship for Mikko, isn't it? It's that intensity of what he's got to do for the championship. He knows that Sebastian's getting no points. I mean, how much does that affect your pace when you know that you've got such a great opportunity to make some gains in the championship? But does that kind of hold you back from attacking too much, because the cost of then throwing the car off the road and getting no points as well would be an absolute disaster? So you wonder just how much that plays with your mind when you want to push and you want to kind of be up there and setting the same time, certainly as your teammate Jari-Matti, who, as you say, has been really quick. But equally, you can't risk putting the car off the road, because any point you get now is a gain on Sébastien Loeb. So a podium, I think, a podium will put him equal on points with Seb, and we'll see what he does in the power stage. But, well, I don't know. I know it is strange to see him not quite put in the fighting battle that we'd hoped for. But it's a lot of pressure on Mikko this weekend as well.
I guess there is a lot of pressure for him to actually keep that car on the road as well, and that's going to, I suppose, hold him back in a way from taking too many risks out there. But Jari-Matti's been setting some great times. He's going to be our next car at the stage end with Colin. What did Sébastien Ogier have to say, Cole?
Yeah, basically he said, yes, I'm back in the lead, but all that effort for what? And he knows it's close as close can be. What is he, 0.9 ahead?
0.9.
Yeah, so his point is he is pushing hard. He is taking risks and it is clearly the splendor of lift for Ogier. So for sure, the two at the front. You have to say that Danny Sordo sounded the more relaxed, but Ogier's done enough to take the lead, Bexy.
Yeah, he certainly has. I think the boys are going to be absolutely exhausted by the time this rally finishes. Lap full is completed then. 5:25.4 is the third quickest time through, 1 second behind Petter Solberg's fastest time.
Interesting comment from Jan at lunchtime when I saw him in service. He said he had a lazy morning. Let's see whether he's had a little more energetic afternoon or start to the afternoon. We'll give him a second, and then we'll find out. We're just asking what happened to Chris Meek. Let's have a
We've got some information on that. We'll give it to you in a minute.
Okay. Hi, Matty. You were telling me at lunchtime you had a lazy morning. How did your afternoon started?
Yeah, it started all right, but I was a bit confused. I took it a bit carefully in the beginning because we got the message that Chris Meek was stopping the stage, but I didn't see him. I didn't see any, no triangles, no signs, so I don't know what was happening.
Yeah, we do. They have gone off the road on a right-hander. Off on some gravel, quite a long way off the road. The crew are okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's this sort of, it's quite a sort of, as you say, sort of rising up a valley, a lot of this. So there will be a lot that you can see here on the left of the, as we follow Mikko, there's a lot of drop off on the side of the road, and it's obviously where they've kind of gone off on the outside of one of these and just, you know, tipped the car over the edge, and well, obviously there's no way back from that.
Yeah, but the most important thing is crew are okay, but huge disappointment for the boys. They were looking forward to getting out there this afternoon.
Desperately disappointing, yeah.
Posting some good times. It would have been a great result if they'd walked away with that. Yes, Cole?
Yeah, just well, it's a bonus for Mikko Harvinen, because Mikko didn't look like he was going to catch Chris Meek. That's an extra few points potentially in the championship for Mikko Harvinen. So, you know, desperate bad luck for Chris Meek, but Harvinen has moved up that place, what he had to do, and he will move ahead of Latvala. So Harvinen will, if he keeps it on the road, he'll stay in fourth place, which puts him just behind Sebastian Loeb in the championship, which is not a bad place to be with a day on gravel coming up in Spain.
Well, we'll find out how he feels about that now. He's just completed the stage. Mikko Hirvonen will come through, and obviously he will be aware of the fact that Chris Meek had stopped within that stage. We'll get his time on the board shortly, but the fastest time through is that of Solberg and Ogier, 5:24.4. Mikko completed with a 5:35.2.
Okay. Hopefully you guys are hearing me okay, but there we go.
We are. Perfect.
Magic. Let's have a word then with Mikko Harvinen. Just getting himself together. Here we go. Mikko, the job today was to get ahead of Chris Meek. He's gone off the road. Really, that's job done for you now.
Yeah, looks like we can cross him over. So when we got that message, I just take it very steady. There's so much travel on the stage that I really didn't take any risks. So, okay, easily got those few points. But I need to finish the rally as well, so I just keep on driving the speed what I have now.
There we go. That's Mikko Harvinen. Betsy, that's it from me at this one. I'm heading off to the end of, well, not the next one, but the one after that, and we'll see you there.
Okay, Cole, thanks for that. That's Colin Clark then, heading away from stage 13 overall. Stage 14 just about to go live. We've got Danny Sordo on the start line of that stage. Stage 14 going live in 2 minutes' time for us, so at 1:20 in the afternoon here. Like we just mentioned, it's going to be exhausting, isn't it? Obviously for Ogier and Sordo, they're going to be battling against each other now right until they get to the end of this rally, if they're lucky enough to continue to be battling for that lead.
Yeah.
And as Ogier said to Colin, you know, all that work in that stage for what? It's only 0.9 of a lead.
Yeah, and as Colin said earlier, I think I don't think Ogier was quite expecting, as you say, once Loeb was out, he probably thought, oh, nice clean run to the finish now, my home event. But yeah, he really has been given a real old fight for his money, first from Petter and Danny as well. And this mini, it certainly surprised Mikko in Germany, didn't it, when Danny pipped him for the final podium spot. I mean, it's catching everyone by surprise in just its fourth rally. And yeah, as you say, Ogier is having to push to the absolute limit on every stage. And as we've just seen from Chris Meek's unfortunate off, that, you know, pushing hard on these stages, there is well, there's just not much room for error if you go off the edge. It's a bit more of a kind of vineyard stage coming up here in stage 14.
But Danny Sordo is off the line now then, and he will be fighting to try and take that lead back from Sebastian Ogier. This stage in length is a total of 16.50 kilometres. Stage 14 is running as now, but this morning it was stage 10. Let's take a look at the fastest time we saw through there this morning. It was held by Petter Solberg. It was 8 minutes and 18 seconds through there this morning. Now, watching Danny Sordo, and you're watching him competing, especially on the tarmac stages, we know Danny Sordo is a bit of a tarmac specialist, and when we see him in Spain, I'm pretty sure we're going to see him right at the front of the field yet again.
Yeah.
He is such a neat, precise driver, very much in the same kind of field as Sebastian Loeb.
Yeah, and let's remember, this is exactly why Mini brought him on in the first place. They knew that they'd have one of the class acts in, as you say, only sort of bettered by Sebastian Loeb in the last sort of 4 or 5 years. As I said, he 11 times finished as runner-up to Loeb on tarmac. I mean, there's been a couple of occasions, certainly in Spain, where he's actually been asked to sort of, fall back and let Loeb take the win on tarmac in the Rally de Catalunya, where he looked like he definitely had the pace to win. We know he's got rally winning pace on tarmac, and to see that he can do it in a car that's just 4 rallies old, it's been a quite performance, as you say, really sort of tidy. I mean, this is where you have to be, you have to drive like this on asphalt rallies, and well, Danny obviously brought up on that asphalt championship in Spain. It's exactly what he's grown up doing, and he's exemplary at doing it.
I think the one great thing about Danny Sordo is he started off as a tarmac specialist, and you can certainly see why when you look at his driving style coming through these stages. But he became such a consistent driver on gravel as well. Yeah,
very much like Loeb did. I mean, they followed the same sort of career path, and it was actually only the sort of the superstar Ogier coming on the scene that sort of lost him his seat there at Citroën last year. But terrific that Mini snapped him up, and I'm fairly sure they're quite pleased they did now.
Yeah, I would think so. He's performed exceptionally well for the team. We saw him on the podium, of course, in Germany a few weeks ago, and now he is battling for the lead here at the Rally de France.
So Petter Solberg's in now, I guess. How far ahead is Petter's still got a fair old chunk of time on Latvia, hasn't he?
Yeah, it is still quite a bit of time. I mean, it's after the previous stage now. Oh, well, on Latvia, it's 1 minute, it's 41.2 seconds.
Yeah, okay, well, as he said there, and as Colin was saying, it's all about sort of keeping the car on the road. Do keep that, that speed up. You can't go easing off the pace too much with Latvia there behind. Obviously, if he does get another puncture, we don't want to see it, but that would obviously open the door for the Fords as well. But for now, it's all about just hoping that relentless fight at the front causes someone else to slip up. I mean, he's had his bad luck. I mean, it wasn't his fault, but obviously then he'll just need a bit of bad luck to befall one of the other two. But it's such a shame, because it was such a terrific three-way battle.
It was, and that's always what we want to see. We want to see as many drivers as possible trying to battle it out for the lead. What was interesting yesterday, not hearing it so much today, but we talked about the amount of cutting that was done, or what the organisers had done to prevent cutting yesterday. A lot of the co-drivers saying at the end of the day yesterday that in itself made them essentially a little bit more cautious out on the stages, not knowing if they were going to go through those cuts, what was in there, because when they recce'd, all the poles were in all the cuts. Here you can see rocks at the side of the road.
Almost like Hinkelstein.
They are. We saw them yesterday. The organisers had painted some of them just to show that they were there. There's such dangers at the side of the road, but this, to be honest, is quite a wide road in comparison to some of the tracks we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I was just going to say, obviously, it's on the back of Germany as well, where unfortunately, this first test for the Michelin asphalt tyre, there were a few punctures, so it's just something to be aware of. And you keep it on the road, you're fine, but as you say, a couple of foot either side just off on these cuts, you're just not sure. And quite often it's just the lip of the tarmac itself, isn't it, or where they've put new asphalt down on the road. It's those lips that quite often can cause the problems, but not so many as Germany. It's just unfortunate that Petter's had that bad luck again, and Osberg as well. He's had certainly his fair share of bad luck in terms. Maybe it's a Norwegian thing. Norwegian puncture bad luck.
It certainly seems to be on this rally. Mads Osberg picking up another puncture today on the earlier stages this morning. Sebastian Ogier is who we're watching now, and incredible performances from him on tarmac. Straight through the cut, bouncing out of it, in fact. It's just full aggression from him.
Yeah, that was took a bit of a hit. Hopefully that's the sort of thing we were just talking about. It just sort of hit the edge of the verge of the road, and terrific view again from this sort of just on the side of the bumper here. I mean, you really get a sense of quite an abrasive tarmac surface as well. A lot of this, not like the sort of smooth stuff you kind of tend to see in the Rally de Catalunya. Some of these. I just see as well how close from that sort of left-hand corner. You're really going to see how close to the edge of the road he's going to get. Terrific view as well from the heli here. Glorious sunshine again, and just screaming through the asphalt, the Alsace countryside here.
No, it must be fantastic for the spectators out there to see this and to be watching this battle. From what we understand, Sebastian Loeb is out there spectating today.
Oh, well, his fan club obviously were out in force, so he's obviously wanted to see their man win again. Saw him win the championship here last year, so I'd imagine he's spending time with the Sebastian Loeb fan club just to sort of show his appreciation for them turning out. And I guess obviously it's a very, very rare occurrence for him to be able to stand roadside and actually watch a rally.
Yeah, I bet. I'd love to get his opinion on who he's been watching and whose style he's most appreciated out there today. That would be fantastic to hear that from Sebastian Loeb.
Who do you think he'd like to see win? Obviously he'd say politically his teammate Mr. Ogier, but obviously that's his former teammate Mr. Sordo, who so many times he pipped to the top spot, and he had Sordo to thank for allowing him to win. Certainly one Rally de Catalunya I can remember. Who do you think he'd want to win?
I think he might want Danny to win out there, to see Danny doing so well in what is a brand new manufacturer, and as we said earlier on, having the Mini come in, be competitive now in France, and no doubt it certainly will be in Spain. It ups everybody's pace. It raises the bar yet again for all the other drivers. It's not just Citroën and Ford anymore.
No, absolutely. And I guess the really competitive side of him wouldn't like his fellow Frenchmen to win on home soil. And actually, that's the other thing I've just thought of. Obviously, with Loeb not able to finish, he was on course to equal Didier Auriol's record of 6 Rally de France victories if he had got another one this weekend. Look at this terrific view through the trees. You really get a sense how quick it is when you go through villages and trees like that.
It is incredible. It'd be interesting to see what kind of pace Sebastian Ogier is setting. You're looking at those straight sections and it really is taking your breath away with the speed of the drivers. You just got to kind of reinforce it. They have to be so precise on these stages, especially now when they're going straight back in to the tree line stages. You're taking the hairpins, you're not sure what's in the cuts. There's those rocks. Like it's very difficult to see how much he's taken that cut, but you can see the lip of the road there, which Piquet was describing earlier on.
And again, you see obviously these marker poles still are around on the for a lot of the corners. Certainly those last couple there, he's obviously had to avoid those. Couldn't quite make the deepest cut he wanted. So look, he is up again on the splits, isn't he?
Sebastian Ogier 2.5 seconds up from Sordo on the splits. Now this is coming in at just shy of 6 kilometres into the stage. Sordo's already passed the final split in this one, which is just before 13 Ks. So he's almost there. Solberg and Ogier are both quicker than Sordo here. Solberg is up by 1.7, but of course it's the time of Ogier we're really focusing on. He could get quite a lead from this. And we say quite a lead because it's been points of a second for quite a few stages.
I mean, exactly.
Even 6 seconds is quite a lead.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? And I seem to remember Danny, we didn't quite sort of enjoy the first couple of stages as much. It was the Grand Ballon stage where he really found a good rhythm. He's cleared stage 14 in one piece, so just remains to be seen how much time he is going to lose. But
let's take a look when the time goes on the board.
I think Danny does like the sort of more faster flowing roads a bit more, doesn't it? Well, ones that are a bit more
like
similar to Catalunya. Yeah, it's roads like that where he really can sort of stretch his legs, and well, as you say, a couple of seconds, it actually seems like a big margin, but
well, it does after just stage upon stage of points of a second. We're waiting for his time to go on the board, but we do have Ogier's third split in. It's exactly the same as the second, 2.5 seconds up on Danny Sordo.
Yep, we're back with Ogier now as he's taking on the last couple of sectors. Just a few kilometres to go now. I always imagine it must be difficult as well when you get the sun a bit high with this dappled light you get through the forest. I mean, it must be distracting at these speeds.
It's one thing I noticed yesterday, and especially a little bit later when the sun is starting to lower in the skies. Still quite strong. They were going into the deep valleys. It was very, very dark under the trees, and then coming out into what was a bright light. Definitely distracting for the drivers.
Absolutely focused, aren't you, on the pace notes from Julien Ingrassia.
Well, total trust. You have to have total trust in what's being read to you to be able to just drive at these speeds, maybe not quite seeing as you're coming in and out of that dappled shade where exactly you're going. The speeds coming from this camera in particular have really impressed me. I could just stop talking and just watch. It is very, very impressive. Okay, time for Sordo of 8 minutes 19.6 through this one. Petter Solberg will be next. He's 1.8 up on the final split we have. And we wait for Sebastian Ogier's final split.
Everyone actually, even Jari-Matti Latvala through the first split quicker than that time from from Danny. It's not a problem. There's no sort of dramas there. It's just, as I say, it might not be one of the stages he enjoyed that much this morning. He really likes to stretch his legs. Some of these more technical roads not quite as suited to Danny's sort of flowing, tidy style.
What's going to be interesting is, you know, you always have this balance with the drivers. It's this element of risk and the fact that, you know, the Mini would want to see Danny on the podium again. Surely they're going to want to see the win more than anything else. But to get that, he's going to have to push it so hard, and so is Ogier.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when was the last win for a Mini? What was it, the late 60s, I think, wasn't it? Kind of, yeah. But I mean, that would be such an incredible story for Mini and, of course, for ProDrive.
Final split in for Ogier against Danny Sordo now. Ogier 3 seconds up on Sordo at the final split, which comes in just shy of 13 Ks into what is a 16K stage, or 16.50.
The Frenchman maybe finally finding that sweet spot in his setup, something like that. Remember, they have just had a brief service, haven't they? So I wonder if he's just found that final little edge to his setup that's given him this ability to find that little bit of, it's all about tenths of a second here, isn't it, over a number of kilometres. And well, Sebastian, he's definitely found it now.
You know, the guys test before they come here, they test before the events extensively, but it's when they're actually into full competition mode, the tweaks they make with that setup, as you say, just to get those extra seconds, or tenths of seconds even.
Yeah.
Okay, Petter Solberg completes then 1 second quicker than Danny Sordo. So Solberg safely through, 8 minutes 18.6 for Petter Solberg.
It's almost more frustrating for him, isn't it? He's still showing exactly the same amazing pace he was showing in the morning. Just shows you what one puncture can do to ruin your rally. Obviously, it happened to Sebastian Loeb in Germany. That cost him his 8-year unbeaten run in Germany, and now, well, has that puncture heartbreakingly cost Petter the chance to claim his first win for 6 years. Oh, he's so close. He's got to win again eventually. He's been knocking on the door for so long now.
It's got to happen. Surely it has got to happen.
There you go. Ogier's into the flying finish.
Okay, let's wait for that time then. Sordo's time just once more, 8:19.6 for Sordo. We wait now for Ogier's time to go on the board. From what we can see from the splits and from the run he had through that stage, he should extend his lead over Danny Sordo, but let's see by how much.
Stunning view of the Vosges Mountains here in Alsace. I mean, it's certainly not been... it's certainly been a well-received decision to obviously the Tour de Course had its history and its heritage, but this really has been a terrific addition to the World Rally Championship. This move to the Alsace. And here's Armindo Arroyo. Terrific run in the privately entered Mini. Just frustrating again for Armindo this morning. He had a puncture as well, was it, this morning? So yeah,
he did. 4.2 seconds is the difference then. Ogier leads over Danny Sordo by 4.2. Petter Solberg remains in third position overall. Ogier's time was 8:16.3, 3.3 up on Sordo through the stage. It's a cracking run through from Ogier.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, we've still got another 2 stages to run. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on in Le Grand Ballon. That's the stage where Danny really managed to make a difference again this morning, wasn't it? So it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out in there. We're all back with Jari-Matti Latvala now. So he makes his way through the forest. Really good run from Jari-Matti again today. And got to say, I mean, it just, with every year that goes by, Jari's tarmac pace is, well, it's just getting better and better, isn't it?
It is getting better. He was really looking forward to coming here to France as well. Interestingly, they tested on a circuit before this event.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I heard that as well. I mean, it's all about, you know, just finding those... I mean, they did have some good times in Germany. It wasn't all bad news. It was just a bit of bad luck, wasn't it, for them both? I mean, certainly... I know Malcolm was very impressed with Jari's time through the Panzerplatte, just a couple of seconds behind Loeb's effort. You know, who's obviously won it for 8 times, is it now? But you know, it's just all about fine-tuning. I mean, Finn's not renowned for their asphalt abilities, but I know Marcus Gronholm didn't mind actually driving on tarmac. He obviously won in Monte Carlo in 06, and I think Jari's one of these drivers. He's managing to sort of, you know, teach himself, you know, so he's that intelligent a driver that he really can sort of teach himself how to get the best out of his own driving abilities on sealed surfaces.
Now we're on board with Mads Osberg and Jonas Andersen. They picked up a puncture earlier on today. They picked up a puncture yesterday as well. I'm sure Mads is going to try and keep it maybe a little bit neater to try not to pick up a puncture this afternoon. Great start to the year from them in Sweden on the podium. We have seen him on pace. He's had a few issues though. A bit of bad luck has been following Mads. But when he's absolutely on the pace, he is impressive. He's talked about wanting to break into the big 5. Loeb, Ogier, Jari-Matti, Mikko, and of course Petter. And at times he's done that.
Yeah, and it's actually fantastic to see him here at all. Obviously he had to work hard to get the funding together. I know he's down to do here, and I think they're on the entry list for Spain as well. But they're really just having to work hard just to physically be at these rallies. So they're obviously not being able to do a great deal of testing. I think he's recently clinched the Norwegian Championship again, so that's great to see him keep that up. And again, there's another driver who doesn't have a great deal of experience on tarmac, but again, Mads is showing reasonably good pace. He's got a little way to go to get up with those sort of top 4 or 5 drivers. Obviously now the mini guys are up there as well, but Mads is one of these drivers. I mean, he's still really young. It feels like he's been around for ages, driving that that Subaru for all those years, but he's actually still, I've forgotten his age now. I think he's 23.
He's early 20s.
Yeah, 23 I think Mads is. So he's still got time in his hands, but again, he's a bit like Chris Meek. He's all about perfection, isn't he? He wants to be perfect in every stage, and it's not going to happen immediately. You have to build on that speed, and it will come eventually. But as you say, just a bit of frustration since that second place in Sweden, but he's still showing good pace at times. And what a year Dennis Kuipers has had as well, actually, since first run in the WRC and finishing the points a number of times already, and he's up to 7th now, is he?
He was on impressive form, PK, in Germany just a couple of weeks ago on tarmac. It was unfortunate what happened to him there. Yeah, he's 6th position overall with Meek, of course.
Yeah, of course. Now Meek's gone up.
Meek, off the road. Just a little bit more information on Chris Meek. This happened on the previous stage. The car went about 30 feet off the road into a field. Didn't roll, but there's some damage to the side of the car from a tree stump.
Well, we'll hope that's not too much damage to the roll cage, because obviously we'd love to see Chris Meek appear in our power stage in Haguenau tomorrow. Obviously on the sort of pace he's shown, it's a nice sort of tight city centre circuit to take on. So it'd be great to see Chris Meek give it a go and try and get some points in the power stage, because he's his pace this weekend deserves the opportunity at least to appear on the final day and get there in front of our live cameras in the Haguenau power stage tomorrow.
Well, we'll wait and see on that score. Disappointing that he's not with us for the rest of the afternoon. That's Chris Meek, who went off the road on the previous stage 11 overall. We're on not stage 11, sorry, stage 13 overall. Where am I? We're on stage 14 at the moment, and we're on board with Dennis Kuipers.
Yeah, he's a Dutchman, obviously. I'd imagine his background was generally on tarmac rallies. So yeah, Dennis is, as you say, Germany as well. He's obviously a fairly talented driver on sealed surfaces, and he's actually impressed me. Obviously the Firm Power Tools outfit, privately entered outfit in the Ford Fiesta, and yeah, he's impressed me at times this year. He's one of these drivers that he doesn't necessarily set the best times, but he's a very consistent driver, and he's more often than not he's there at the finish of the rally, finishing in those 7th or 8th positions. So he'll be really pleased again with this run.
Now Henning Solberg is off the start line now. It's always a story with Henning Solberg, isn't it? Yesterday there was the tussle with Kimi Räikkönen before even the stage began. Yeah. He was telling Colin at remote service that he came across a pig in one of the stages, and then it kind of...
Wasn't it a cow a couple of rallies ago?
It was a cow at the last rally. It was a pig on this one. He didn't hit the pig, but he did come across a big black pig, apparently, in the stage.
Right, yeah.
So there's one for the editors to have a look through on the onboard footage.
Which stage was that?
That was, I think, maybe on the stage just before service.
Okay, I'll have to look out for that.
But always a story with Henning Solberg. He probably gives the most animated descriptions at the stage end of his time through the stages. He had quite a time in Australia. He rolled on that super special stage, trying absolutely to get himself in full preparation for the power stage that it turned into a little bit later on. He's still there though, isn't he?
Yeah, and you know what I think it might be? I've just had a theory about this.
Go on.
Maybe the livestock are attracted to this bright yellow car. Maybe they think it's a huge banana or something. They're just attracted to this bright yellow car, and that's what keeps bringing out the livestock onto the stage. But yeah, no, it's...
It was interesting to see there from that bumper can the amount of gravel.
Yeah, was that rocks? I couldn't tell if that was rocks or leaves. It was some big rocks in the stage there, yeah.
Rocks that can do damage.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's all being brought out now by the cars that have already gone through. So it is just going to get messier and get dirtier as the stage goes on.
Again, terrific view as from above as Henning flies up the other hairpins. It's actually quite similar to the previous stage, just a bit wider, isn't it? It's more of a sort of double lane road. He does have a bit more space to get those driving lines sorted out, but still a couple of tight hairpins to negotiate as well. And well, as you say, always a story with Henning. Where's he up to now, or down to now? I lost track. He's been up and down the leaderboard again this weekend.
He certainly has. He's in 8th position overall now.
Well, he's still in those point scoring places. Ken Block, actually, he's probably had his best run of the year so far. Is he actually in the points now?
He's in 10th position.
Oh, fantastic.
So he is in point-scoring position.
Fantastic news for Ken Block, as always, with rallying. Bad news for someone, bad news for Chris Meek, but it does, of course, mean good news for everyone who was running behind him.
Now, that's interesting. We've just seen a penalty go on the board for Jari-Matti Latvala, jump start from stage 13. So 10-second penalty just gone on the board for Jari-Matti Latvala for a jump start.
How far ahead of Mikko is he? Not that it really matters, because I'm sure
yeah, I'm sure they will end up swapping places. Let's have a look. Latvala in 4th position, ahead of Mikko by 26.4 seconds.
Plenty of spectators down there as they just go past that small village. Like loads of fans around. Actually, even though their hero Sebastian Loeb's out, was worried that might hit the numbers of spectators, but they're still loving the competition here in the Rally de France.
Yeah, we saw huge volumes here. Like a massive slide around that hairpin then from
expect
from
nothing less.
Exactly, you do expect some spectacular slides from Mr. Block. He was talking about loving some of the gravel sections yesterday, as was I think it was Mads Osberg who was saying about it yesterday. But you know, Ken has developed, he has progressed throughout the season. He was struggling with the pace note element of it all, but that seems to be really coming together now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just great to see him just have a clean run, isn't it? I mean, sometimes it's driver error, sometimes it's bad luck, but it's just fantastic to see that he's finally on course to get a good run, and you can really see that he's pleased with his own driving. Hearing him talk to Colin and Julian at the end of the stages, he seems a lot happier with his own driving and in his own kind of improving kind of ability. I mean, actually, you kind of expect him to be prefer driving on tarmac because of all the gymkhana stuff and everything. He does actually prefer driving on gravel a lot more, you know, a loose surface stuff in the American Championship, but certainly on tarmac I think he's very much improved, and well, let's just hope he can hang on in this what would be his first point scoring finish of the year, because it's much deserved, because he has improved immeasurably at times over the year.
Okay, Pierre Campana is who we're following now. Pierre is into 9th position in the overall classifications. He was having a little bit of a battle with Ken Block. There's 4.4 seconds between them, so that kind of continues on, although Pierre has the upper hand at the moment, but he's in that private mini. Yeah,
just noticed he's got the it's the Corsican flag symbol, isn't it? He's actually from Corsica, Pierre, which is maybe strange for him to have to come to do the Rally de France in over in Alsace now, obviously for many years, run in the Tour de Corse in his homeland in Corsica. That's what that black symbol is on his roof. That's the Corsican flag, and well, he's entered by the French Federation, isn't he? They obviously see he doesn't have a huge amount of experience at international level, but they've obviously seen something to give him this opportunity. He appeared in Germany as well, had a difficult run there as I remember, but great to see him up there in the points on his home event.
Now, he's been competing in a few rallies in preparation for this one as well, but fantastic to see Pierre Campana here. Let's update you on a few times coming through from the stage then. Ogier setting the fastest time and extending his lead over Danny Sordo. 4.2 seconds is Ogier's lead, so Ogier fastest through. Latvala was second quickest, Petter Solberg third quickest through with then Danny Sordo. Mads Osberg's just come through with an 8:30.1 to put him 5th quickest. Hevonen was 6th quickest, and Almunda Araujo 7th quickest through the stage. So that's the drivers we have completed on stage 14 so far.
It's actually all calming down. We're so used to drama this weekend, you can actually take your breath for a second. I mean, yesterday it just did not stop right the way to the final stage of the day, did it really? But it's sort of starting to calm down a little bit this afternoon, but we do have that longer run through the Grand Ballon still to come. A funny story about the Grand Ballon, actually.
Go on, tell me.
We tried to do an amusing joke with Mr. Loeb, sort of to ask him, do you need a Grand Ballon to do the Grand Ballon, as in, do you need big balls to do the Grand Ballon? Apparently it doesn't translate.
Oh,
it doesn't quite work. He just looked at it. Kind of, ballon is more of a sort of football rather than. It would have had to be. No, yeah, it would have had to have been. Do you need Grand Boule for the Grand Ballon? But he just looked at me in a rather confused manner until he realised what I was trying to say, and then just laughed at me. But anyway, that was.
Won't be the first time though.
No, it won't be the first time. But yeah. Yeah, we'll have to do our research a bit more, and we're trying to do amusing jokes with the translation. But anyway,
definitely more research called for. But he's one driver who would, he would play along with you. He understood what you were trying to say.
He understood eventually. He understood eventually and laughed at me, but did make it very clear that it doesn't quite translate.
It would have been doesn't work.
Obviously, would have been terribly amusing if it had translated. But yeah, you do need big balls for the Grand Ballon. It's quite a stage, so that is still to come, and we'll have to just wait and see. Then Danny Sordo, 4.2 seconds behind now. Let's see if he can pull something special out in that longer stage. That's what's that? There's still one more to run before then, though.
There is, yeah. We've got stage 15, the Vallée de Munster. Now we had we put Dale Muscat in here yesterday, who was having a chat with us throughout the afternoon, talking through the stages, just pretty much like you do now. And he was saying that is the stage which is the real tricky one of today. Like the 36k one was yesterday, it's the Vallée de Munster, which is the one that stands out today.
Obviously, this leaderboard you might be looking at now. This is just ignore the bottom three guys. That's Evgeny Yuho and Didier Riccivier, I assume, is a local guy just with their Super Rally times appearing. So there will be a few more drivers to slot into the bottom three positions there, but that top seven is as it stands, I believe, is it? Yes, Armindo up to 6th. Well, he's had his problem, but again, he's other people go out, and suddenly Armindo's on for, well, that's going to be a cracking run if he can hold on to that.
It's great to see him actually getting and feeling at home within the Mini WRC, because we saw him kick off with the Mini S2000 and things were going well, but when he switched to the WRC, he found it very difficult to get into the WRC car mode, but he's starting to get into a good rhythm with it all now.
Yeah, I think with Armindo, obviously, that's from, coming from a PW, obviously a double PWRC champion. I think a lot of drivers do say stepping up from sort of a Group N level into the new era, especially of the WRC cars, it's very, very different. It's a heavier car. It does take a lot more time to make that transition, whereas obviously if you've come from the S2000 cars, it's a lot more similar. So it does tend to take drivers who've taken that route into the top level a bit more time to get to grips with it. So I think that's what we're seeing with Armindo, but he's obviously a quick driver. You don't win World Championship level, even at production level, without being a talented driver. Obviously it'd be interesting to see now the new champion, Hayden Paddon. I think we're all waiting to see, we're desperate to see him get in maybe at least a
just a few.
We're here with David Lapworth, ProDrive Technical Director, and David, bad news there, Chris Meek off in stage 13. What can you tell us about the incident? Are driver and co-driver okay?
Yeah, they seem to be okay. We've spoken to them. They've shaken but not too badly stirred. The car's a bit of a mess. It certainly won't be running again. It sounds like a fairly small mistake with major consequences. They ran a little bit wide, touched the gravel and sailed off the road.
So the car won't be continuing then, confirmation of that. How disappointing is this for the team?
It's always disappointing because obviously things were going so well, but it's life. Chris was doing a great job. He finds it difficult to make the right allowances for his level of experience. He's been exchanging times with some of the best drivers in the world, the sort of the established drivers. Perhaps he's got drawn into that battle more than he should, consider his experience. But it's difficult. They're all, you've only got to look at the cars. I've just come back from that remote service, and they've all got stories to tell about near misses, and they've all got little scratches on their cars. So we can't be too harsh. It happens.
Okay, thank you, David.
.26 kilometres. Colin's heading to the end of this one now, so we'll be able to hear from the drivers at the end of this stage. But it's Ogier who takes the lead into this one, 4.2 seconds over Danny Sordo. Danny on the start line, ready to go for it. Will he be able to reclaim anything from this one? It was, as you said earlier on, Piquet, the next stage,
right. Yeah.
Where he reclaimed his lead.
I can't remember how he got on in the Vallée de Munster earlier. Did he?
Let's double check. Shall we? It was run.
This was the stage where Ogier took the lead, wasn't it? When Petter had his problem.
This is where Petter had a puncture. Yeah. Sordo was second quickest through, 11:18.8 for Sordo. Ogier set the fastest time, 11:15 exactly.
And again, we'll just have to keep an eye on this first run through to see how bad the cutting has made the gravel on top of the road. Looks fairly similar to the first stage here at the start of this, but it must open it out. I guess it is in a valley, being called the Vallée de Munster. So, yeah.
this is it actually does start to wind up as one of the highest elevation stages that we will have here. Again, looking at the track, and it is a track, you know. We saw the road earlier on with the line down the middle. This is quite a narrow farm type esque road, you know, leading like a country road.
Yeah, it's very similar to the first stage we saw in the loop, but certainly at the start of it here. But yeah, so it's no margin for error, and concentrate on those notes from Carlos Del Barrio now. You know, he knows he's lost a little bit of time to Ogier. Does that start to play on his mind? Does he think I need to attack again? Or, as you say, does he think, hang on, I've already got a podium, I'm on course to get a second? It's just, I guess it just depends what stage they get to in the rally when they start to think like that, or, you know, do they keep attacking? I mean, it's such an important opportunity with no Mr. Loeb out there, which so rarely happens. This is what makes it such a crucial opportunity, I guess, for guys like Danny. That, you know, when is he going to get another chance to fight for a win? Certainly so early in the mini program as it is now, in just their sort of 4 or 5 events they're doing this year. So look at this terrific. Yeah, it's up onto the Vosges Mountains really now, isn't it?
Yeah, you're heading up. I think it's 1,000 meters. The guys will head up.
That's right. And then it's the Grand Ballon when they hit the highest point of the rally. That's right. See more of these markers again. You are seeing them. Yeah, they're on the right and the left. Yeah.
There are these poles that the organisers have put in to try and stop the drivers from cutting and bringing out the dirt that we saw so much of last year, but it's very different weather conditions last year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's probably still necessary, and certainly it's probably, if nothing else, preventing more punctures, I think, in this occasion. I mean, there was a bit of concern about it before the event, certainly. You know, Chris Meek was quite vocal about it, but I don't think there's been too many, you know, once the rally's got going, not been too many issues that I've heard about. So yeah, I mean, sometimes the organisers have to come up with, you know, ways to improve their events. Some work, some don't. But, you know, it's not been a massive issue. And as I say, I think it's not really the weather this year, but I think actually not having these cuts has probably prevented, we have seen a few punctures, but I think we'd have seen even more if they had been allowed to cut, because drivers, by their very nature, want to take the fastest line possible.
Disappointing music for Chris Meek. Then it seems the car won't run again this weekend. You saw an interview as we were chatting away with David Lapworth. But,
that is devastating for Chris. I mean, again, terrific run and just no luck. It's just well, let's see. He's still got Spain. We've still got obviously his home rally in GB as well to come. And well, if nothing else, he is proving that Chris definitely belongs on the world stage. He's just unfortunately not quite got the experience of his teammate, and he's not quite got the luck yet either.
Yeah, it's a huge bad luck for him. Apparently crew are shaken after the accident, but unhurt, which is, you know, the most important thing. Lots of people high up on the stage then watching as the cars spin through. Be lovely to have your own little helicopter just to nip out, have a look at the stage. I'd love that.
Yeah, it really does open out, doesn't it? Once it gets out the forest and starts to sort of wind its way up the sort of side of the hills here. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it, out there?
Carlos Del Barrio, Danny Sordo's co-driver, a huge amount of experience behind the pace notes, let's say. But Danny Sordo's been through quite a few co-drivers over the past couple of years.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? It's interesting to see. Obviously, Marty was the big surprise for me, because you'd have thought, you know, such an experienced guy, obviously former co-driver to Carlos Sainz for a number of years as well. It's surprising that relationship didn't quite work out, but I think it has just been you know, nothing personal with these guys. He's just obviously it's vitally important. You're absolutely, you know, not just trusting, but you get on with as well, you know, your co-drivers. So, you know, yeah, it's strange to see that he's switched around. Obviously, Carlos, former co-driver to the likes of Chevy Ponce over the years.
Now we're continuing to watch then, and we're waiting for some splits to come through for Sébastien Ogier. Now we have a total of 5 split points within this stage. We've already got Danny Sordo up at split section 2, which was just over 6Ks in. Solberg's past the opening split. He's 0.2 slower than Sordo there. Nothing on the board as yet for Sébastien Ogier, but I'm sure they will filter in soon.
Yeah, starting to see people looking a bit slower than Danny again as another fight back started possibly.
Ogier Ogier's split is in then, 0.2 up on Sordo. It's like as if it just did it perfect time, just to prove you wrong.
Just we've got to remember now, of course, the other thing that's going to possibly play into Mini and certainly Danny's tactics is the fact that Chris has now gone out. They've lost one of their guys. So Chris, was in a fantastic 4th place. Does that now obviously mean that it's more important, or obviously it's more important, but is it even more important that Danny just keeps the car on the road now as well? I mean, a win would be fantastic, but a 2nd place would be a lot better than not finishing either car, basically.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to lose what they've already got, which is a driver on the podium, but it's so tantalisingly close, isn't it? You know it. Whole position, but try and give it a go. I'm sure they're going to keep trying to get that win. Or, having said that, yesterday with Danny Sordo leading at the end of day 1 would have been such a massive boost for the team.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that alone, I guess, is fantastic publicity, isn't it? And again, fantastic view from our helicopter above the stage as Daniel and Carlos make their way sort of a downhill section now through a tight little hairpin there, particularly tidy from Danny for that, but it was really, really tight. But as you say, fantastic for them to be leading a rally at all, and to actually be fighting for a win as well is fantastic at this early stage. But it remains to be seen. And don't forget that Ogier, of course, will be not only desperate to win his home event, but a win, plus if he can do it, 3 points in the power stage, will put him 1 point behind his teammates in the championship race. All right, they might be still favouring Loeb in that championship race, but 1 point is 1 point, and it certainly does open up the possibility, if Loeb has any more problems, or if he can, or is even allowed to fight with his championship, to fight with his teammate, then the championship is technically it's a 3-way battle again.
Yeah. You can certainly see the speeds that these guys are taking, the hairpins, the corners, from the gear ratio that was selected for Danny Sordo. It's hardly out of 5th or 6th.
Yeah, it's a lot quicker here, isn't it? We saw some very tight technical stuff through the forest as they climbed up the mountainside a bit earlier, but now this really has opened out into some terrific top speed roads now. Again, a bit of a drop off on the edge, but terrific stuff from Sebastian.
Now the splits that we've got coming through now then, Petter Solberg up at split section 2. We're waiting for Ogier's time to filter in there, but Solberg's slower than Sordo. So is Ogier. Ogier slower than Sordo by 0.6 of a second at split 2, 6.14 Ks into this stage. Now this one in length is 22.26 kilometres. They've got still a long way to go in this stage. Sordo is past split section 4. He's just over 15 kilometres into this one.
Yeah, I can see what Dale meant yesterday as well. This is a terrific stage. Got a little bit of everything, isn't it? Big cut there from Sebastian, so no pole stopping them taking that one with a very straight route through.
I think that was the concern from some of them, was that all these poles were on the recce. Some of them weren't on the stages yesterday, so they were unsure whether to cut or not.
Damp stuff out there.
It actually does look quite damp, doesn't it? Is that just some shiny tar we're seeing?
Maybe.
Or is it?
Maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe it is just that. Yeah, shiny. Oh, it looks wet, doesn't it? Strange. There's no clouds around. It's certainly not been raining, is it?
It's interesting because I talked to some of the co-drivers before the event got underway, and they said that there are some sections of the stage which actually do not dry out.
Maybe
we've done the recce in the afternoon. It's 26 degrees, but there are still sections of the stage, especially when you're close to the trees, which are still damp.
Well, it is warm in the sunshine out there, but let's not forget it is September, October. I've lost track.
It's actually October today.
It is October. Oh, there you go. That's why I should remember. But it is. You get out of the sun and it is still fairly cool. So if there is some damp out there, maybe they're right. Yeah, maybe it just doesn't actually ever dry out. But yeah, it did look very damp in that section.
Okay, let's take a look at the rest of the splits then. Solberg now up on Sordo at split section 3. This is just over 10 kilometres into this stage. We've got Jari-Matti Lautvala in as well, and Danny Sordo coming now to the closing sections of this stage.
Yeah, interesting. Even just looking at the map here, you can see it does sort of start to get a bit more twisty towards the finish. You can actually get a good view of it from our GPS map. I mean, how the whole stage lays out. It's a really interesting technical challenge, certainly through the end again here for Danny. So he needs to be concentrated just for a few more kilometres, and that's one more stage cleared.
11 hairpins in this stage.
Wow, yeah.
I've just counted them from the map. Not that I knew that fact. I just had a look
what
at
you were
that.
just counting out in the air. Oh, it's 11
it.
hairpins. I've just remembered that from the first run through. I'd have believed you then.
Yeah, I was trying to make myself sound good. It wasn't working.
Yeah, Ogier's still in this really nice flowing section. A couple of little hairpins here as he comes down the hill, and then it opens out again just after that.
It's quite a cut that he was taking then. It looked as if he just swung out maybe a little wide after it, but it's very difficult to tell from that angle. Let's have a look at his split has come in for split section 3. He is back very much on the pace again. 2.1 up on Sordo at 10.32 kilometres.
Yeah, I think Mr. Ogier certainly he's throwing down the gauntlet this afternoon, isn't he? He's putting down his marker now, and well, as we said before, it's then does Danny want to respond to what is a really impressive charge from the Citroën Total man this afternoon?
Well, if anything, you can certainly see that Ogier is still flat to the floor with this. He doesn't seem to be easing up one jot. Which, great for us to watch, of course, but there's always that element of, is he going to keep this on the road?
Yeah. Well, as you say, he's made a couple of sort of final day errors, hasn't he? When he's and the one in Australia as well, but that was pretty horrendous conditions. But yeah, bit of a roll there, and a bit of gravel around still. He's definitely on it. He's right on the limit at times here, but anyway, Danny Sordo, he's really getting close to the end of the stage now, isn't he? Is Colin down there?
Colin is not quite at the stage end. He's at a road section a little bit further away.
Okay.
Should be there in approximately 2 minutes' time.
Okay, perfect. Once you have a quick word with Colin, I'd probably better head off and get back to my day job.
Your day jobs, which of course you can hear PK's lovely voice booming around the world on the daily programmes.
This is quite useful actually, so I now know what's been happening in these stages, so I've just got to remember it all and quickly type it up, and yes, hopefully Colin's being kind to the guru out there as well. I don't like to see the guru stressed for the power stage.
Julian Porter, of course, your fellow commentator on the power stage. That's been a good success this year. What's it like working with the guru?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, we just sort of talk about the pictures, and I let Julian do all the maths for me. He really does have an incredible brain and memory for statistics.
He is an encyclopedia.
Yeah. What's lovely about Julian is he's just an absolute enthusiast, and he loves every second of every rally, and it really is infectious. But yeah, well, I think Julian's he's been quite enjoying the controversy and the drama out there as well this weekend. It's been a fantastic rally so far in France, and not really, I have to say, what we expected. Normally you come here and think, well, Citroën 1-2, probably Loeb winning. And then
you wouldn't bet against Loeb, would you, normally? And it was a big shock to everybody yesterday to see him stopped on stage 3 of the event, and then to find out that he wouldn't be coming back. The car was ultimately retired. Now, Danny Sordo has completed the stage. 11:21.3 a time for Danny Sordo. We'll be crossing over to Colin in just a few moments. He is about 5 kilometres away from the stage end, and he will be with Julian Porter, the guru who we're talking about, and they'll be chatting to the drivers there at the side of the road. So Petter Solberg's going to be next to complete. We're waiting for the next split to come in from Ogier, but he is absolutely flat to the floor. From the pictures we're seeing from the split at section 3, 2.1 up on Sordo. Next split comes in at just shy of 15 kilometres into this stage.
It's funny, isn't it, when you actually look at the split times, you actually do wonder, did he sort of see that split time before, oh, hang on a minute, I'm a bit slower here, and then he's just put his foot down, and just that's how quickly they can respond, and then in that few kilometres he's made up, 2.5 seconds there.
It is pretty impressive, but he is an incredibly impressive driver.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw him in the Junior Championship where he won every single... We've got a final split in, sorry, I'll come back to that. We've got a final split in for Ogier. 3.4 up on Sordo at the end.
He's really found another gear this afternoon, hasn't he? I mean, he may have been shocked by the pace that Danny Sordo had shown this morning and for the whole rally. But, well, Sébastien Ogier, he's found another level this afternoon. And, well, Danny, he's finding it a little bit tough to live with. Or is this the pressure of securing another good result for Mini starting to play in his mind as well?
We'll have to wait until the next stage to see what response we can get out of Sordo. Grand Ballon, 24 kilometres. Plenty of time for him to try and make up the time that he's losing to Ogier. But if Ogier continues on at this kind of pace, it is going to be an incredibly tough challenge from Sordo. Well, he's thinking that he has to absolutely keep this car on the road as well as try and take back that time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and we've seen already this year, haven't we? What's he got already? Sort of 4 or 5 wins. as well already, Mr. Ogier. You know, he really is he's the real deal now. He's a proper championship contender. He's a potential rally winner in every rally. I mean, we know Danny has the pace as well, but yeah, Mr. Ogier, he's certainly a superstar of the future, and it's been quite a treat to watch him this year. And on his home events here, well, he's now thrown down the gauntlet
to complete. Sordo's time was 11:21.3 and Petter Solberg's 11:24.7. We've got Ogier just coming now to the closing sector of the stage, so we should get a time on the board and we'll be able to let you know what the difference is in the overall classifications. Ogier takes the lead into this stage, but it looks like he's very much going to extend it over Danny Sordo. He takes 3.7 seconds lead over Sordo in the stage. In the overall classifications, we're heading towards double figures here. 7.9 seconds is Ogier's lead over Sordo.
From what we've seen so far, that is huge. We're used to this event being between 1 or 2 seconds, if that, so far. So that's certainly the biggest gap we've seen so far.
It certainly is. PK, if you do need to leave, you can go at any time. Colin, you better go.
I probably better go.
You've got to do some
get told
scripting.
Off. Yeah. Thank you very much. Enjoyed it. We'll see you later.
That's the lovely Paul King, who's been chatting with me through the stages. Excellent to have him on board and chatting through stages 13, 14 and most of 15 as well. Colin Clark's on his way now to that road section where he was at earlier to catch up with the drivers after stage 15. Valley de Monster, that is where we're at right now. 22.26 kilometres in length. It got underway at 13:49 for us, and we've got 3 drivers through so far. Sebastian Ogier on an absolute flyer through the stage. 11:17.6 was the time through from Ogier. That's 3.7 seconds ahead of Danny Sordo. Petter Solberg 7.1 adrift of Ogier's fastest time. So Ogier leads by 7.9 over Danny Sordo, with Petter Solberg in third, and we're following the car now of Mads Osberg and Jonas Andersen as they make their way through this stage. Picked up a puncture this morning, but they've had a clean run so far this afternoon. Let's hope that continues. Lots of news coming out of this afternoon, and disappointing news for Chris Meek on the opening stage of the test. Chris Meek and Paul Nagel went off the road, unfortunately, and we will not see them continuing on. Both crew are okay, but they went quite a distance off the road by the sounds of things. But the most important thing is that they are okay. It's just unfortunate bad luck. They were looking forward to coming out to these 4 stages this afternoon. They've gone through this morning. They've made a few alterations to the notes. They were looking at coming back, really challenging for some pace out there. Chris is such a perfectionist. But unfortunately, it's ended a bit of bad luck for them, and we won't see them continuing on here in France. So, Mads Osberg in the stage, Jari-Matti Latvala, Mikko Hirvonen are also within this stage, so is Armando Araujo and Dennis Kuipers. Mads Osberg hoping to have a clean run out there this afternoon and get some more confidence on tarmac. We heard him talk yesterday morning about the confidence starting to build in the car as he was going through the stages. He felt better with every kilometre that was essentially going under his belt. We'll see what kind of times he will be setting on the stages this afternoon. In terms of the splits, if we compare him to Sebastian Ogier, we're seeing some fantastic times from him on this stage. He's 0.2 of a second quicker than Ogier at split section 2, so doing really, really well. Let's cross over now then to a road junction not far away from the end of stage 15, and Colin Clark is there for us. Hi, Col.
Lexi. Really.
You made it there then. A little bit tight on the time maybe, but you've made it there.
A little bit fraught, I'd have to say. When you get stuck behind an old granny doing 20 kilometres an hour up a mountain, it's very difficult. But here it is, Danny Sordo. So just in time. How's his time looking in that stage, Bex, very quickly?
He has lost time to Ogier in there. Ogier is 7.9 ahead in the overall classifications now. So he lost 3.7 to Ogier there.
7.9 behind now in the overall classifications. What can you do about that in the next one?
I just can push him like now, no? But I think if Ogier is still pushing like that, it will be good for him, because I don't know, I think it's still really close and difficult, but I do all my best, and I will continue like that, no?
Road cleaning, do you think, having an effect this afternoon?
No, the road is the same. It's a little bit more dirty, but for everybody. Tarmac, I don't think so. It's road cleaning, no, it's just go a little bit faster, but I did my best with the car, so
Oh, Danny Sordo, he's still there, Bex, he's still there or thereabouts, but it looks as if Ogier is very much on a flyer then this afternoon.
He certainly is. It was amazing to watch him go through that stage, Cole. He really was foot to the floor most of the way through. There were one or two splits where he was down on Sordo, but then towards the midpoint section of the stage, right to the end, he really upped his pace. He's still got the fastest time on the board, 11:17.6. But interestingly, watching the splits and watching some of the footage, we were on board with Mads Osberg. Mads was up on the splits from Ogier at split 2, 0.2 of a second up there. So he was doing a great job, but unfortunately he slid down a little on the third split, 2.3 behind Ogier there. Okay, so 4 drivers have completed the stage now as we continue to watch the pictures coming in. Ogier, Sordo, Laffler came through with 11:21.5, that's 3.9 adrift of Ogier, and Petter Solberg's time was 11:24.7.
Beautiful sight up here this afternoon, I have to say, looking across the valley towards the south. We're high up on this mountain plateau, about 1,300 metres, and the sky is full of these parasailers. I couldn't count them. There must be 30, 40 parasails just up there floating on the thermals on what is a perfect autumn afternoon. A beautiful sight indeed. Rally cars, you know, these parasailers in the sky, the sun's out, gorgeous, a great day for rallying. Greg, just give me a quick idea of the top 4 or 5.
Well, we've already got our top 4 through for this stage.
Okay, good. Go on then after the top 4 then after the stage.
After this stage, hold on, just 1 second. I will bring that up for you. Just watching some pictures of Henning Solberg making his way through the stage. You can see just from the cut that he almost took there how much gravel is in there. Now, Ogier is leading by 7.9 seconds, Colin, over Danny Sordo. Petter Solberg is in 3rd position. He is 42.2 seconds adrift of Sordo. Then we've got Lappala 47.7 behind Solberg. And Mikko Hevonen 48.8 behind Lappala.
Thank you very much indeed. That's really all I need to know for just now. Okay, Johnny says we're here, we're relatively calm. Jules has just made it as well. His courier got stopped by the police on the way up. Oh dear, it's all quite frantic coming up here. But we're here, Becky.
It's, you know, we're watching some of this footage coming in. There's a chicane in this stage, which doesn't look like hay bales, look like big water tanks. But my goodness, Henning Solberg took that at some pace through there. Henning, be good to catch up with him in the overall classifications now after stage 14. Henning Solberg in that bright yellow Fiesta is in 8th position overall. Let's see how much of it. He's only 13.6 seconds adrift of Armando Araujo, Cole. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see if Henning is going to try and battle away for that position that Armando's got.
Yeah, you know, Henning certainly does. He likes to battle, he likes to fight, doesn't he? And he's got a bit of a bad luck season so far. He's doing well in Australia until his car stopped. And obviously Henning Solberg very much a private entrant. You know, works very, very hard at putting a sponsorship budget together every year. And, you know, sponsors want returns, don't they? And the higher up you can get, the better. So for sure, Henning Solberg, you know, a few years ago, you'd have said that he's lost on tarmac. And remember, he took a bit of time out from the World Rally cars, went into SP1000 cars on tarmac, and really seemed to find something a little bit extra, didn't he? So, you know, he knows his way in a World Rally car on the surface now.
Yeah, he certainly does. We're watching the splits coming through for him against Armando Araujo. Now, he was up on the opening split, down on the second. He's 2.1 up on Armando at the third split. That's just over 10 Ks in.
Okay, here's the man of the stage, it's Sebastian Ogier. He'll be delighted with the way it's gone this afternoon. Yeah, looks very content in the car. He was very flustered when we saw him yesterday evening, but now, all calm.
Sebastian looking pretty cool and calm now. The lead just gets a little bit bigger every stage. Yeah, this afternoon is going well for the moment. Still one real stage to go, so we have to do another good one if you want to have a small lead tonight. How much are you pushing? 100%? I try to push a bit more. The conditions of road are not so bad today, even on the second loop. The first stage was dirty, but the other one was good, so I try to push when it's thin.
Yeah, there we go. That's Sebastian Ogier back there. Good. Couple of stages for him. Just beginning to eke out a bit of an advantage now over Danny Sordo. But Sordo was quick in the final stage of the loop this morning. He needs to be quick again when they get there in half an hour or so's time.
He does need to be quick again if he wants to stay in touch with Sebastian Ogier. I mean, it's only 7.9 seconds over this stage, but we've seen it so close. It's just been tenths of a second. And now Sebastian Ogier seems to be really stretching his legs on the stages and building up that lead. We need to see that comeback from Sordo on the next stage.
We do, because it'd be great to see this going right down to the wire tomorrow, to have Sordo right in the battle. And you remember, only 40 Ks tomorrow, so I think Danny Sordo does need to take 2 or 3 seconds out of Ogier in the final stage of the day. And if he does that, we're in for a great one tomorrow. But here we go, there's Jari Matti.
Yeah, we had jumped start in the previous stage. A little bit of a mistake, obviously, lost a bit of time off there. Yeah, it was a time off. It was actually, I didn't notice it, honestly, so that was by an accident. That's an accident, so... Okay, I have been running World Rally Championship since 2002, and I have over 100 rallies, and now I've got the jump start, so maybe some point you have to experience that as well. And was this long one? It was okay. Obviously I don't need to take any risks, so I tried to avoid risks, so I still try to enjoy it, so I would like to be a little bit quicker, I would like to be.
That's quite some start back there, isn't it? Over 100 rallies, and that's his first jump start. You'd have to say, well, it's probably somewhere around about 1900 stage starts, and that's the first time he jump started. Well, that's not bad going, is it?
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, we were talking about that on the board earlier on. I didn't realise it was his first ever jump start, though. That's Jari Matti Latvala with Colin Clark, who's not far away from the stage end of this one. This is stage 15, Valley de Munster, which we're watching now. We've got quite a few drivers who've completed the stage. Let's just go back to the overall classification, see where we are in terms of stage 15. Ogier took the win in the stage. We've had Mads Osberg through 11:29.2 the time for Mads Osberg, and we're watching the car of Matty Wilson make his way through the stage right now. It is another beautiful afternoon here in France. The forecast set to be good as well for tomorrow. So much different to the way it was last year. Dry conditions throughout. Although it is quite chilly in the mornings here. We had a lot of mist and fog early this morning, but that cleared off nicely before the stage has gone underway. Who have you got with
beautiful.
You now?
Beautiful afternoon, Bex. 25, 26 degrees up here. Mikko Harvinen. Solberg hasn't come to us yet. Remember, we are 6Ks from the stage. Let's hear from Mikko, though.
Mikko, that's the end of another one there. Again, the time's a little bit disappointing for you, really. Yeah, they are. But then again, you know, right away when we got messages to make it out, I backed up even more. So many tricky places, so much trouble on the road that I'm not taking any risks. So you know, this speed it's just fun. So it's all about points at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, it really is all about points for Mikko Harvinen now, Beck. He's got to give himself a chance of going to GB, back onto the gravel at GB, remember, his preferred surface, with a chance of winning the title. And you know, he doesn't have to push now. The only car he can possibly catch is Latvala, and Latvala will let him pass anyway. So Harvinen, it's all about keeping it on the road and securing that 4th place. 12 points for 4th place. He can pick up a couple of points or 1 point in the power stage. He is right there with Sebastian Loeb in the overall championship. Oil, Jules, from whose car? Anyway, there's some oil on the road there, but not a huge amount, but a bit of oil, as the gendarmerie on their big motorbikes go past us. They don't want a word with us, that's good, Bexy.
Glad to hear it. Sebastian Ogier then is leading after stage 15 here at the Rally de France. Danny Sordo is 7.9 seconds behind Ogier in the overall classifications. Petter Solberg is 3rd with Jari Matti Latvala in 4th. Mikko Hirvonen is in 5th position with Dennis Kuipers in 6th. Armando Araujo is 7th. Mads Osberg in 8th position overall. Colin Clark is at a road section not too far away from the stage end, chatting to the drivers after they've completed stage 15. They'll be heading off to Grand Ballon, stage 16, which goes live at 15:12. That's just under an hour's time.
Becky, just have a look on your tracker and
just
tell us
over
what
an hour's time, in fact.
So yeah, just over an hour.
Let's
have a look.
I will have a look. We've got a GPS tracking system here in the studio where I can see where the drivers are, where they've stopped, where they're moving to. I can't find him for the moment, Colin.
Okay, don't worry, Becky. We'll come to us eventually. It's just we've had, obviously, Mikko Harvinen. Harvinen was, what was he, 6th on the road? 5th or 6th on the road? And Solberg 2nd on the road. Quite often,
I
they
see
stop.
him.
Okay. Still stopped?
Yeah, he's still stopped at the moment.
Okay, a long road section, plenty of time for the drivers to get from the end of this stage to the start of the next stage. So Solberg, maybe just making some adjustments, swapping his tyres around, maybe even adjusting the suspension. That's a possibility. He does that occasionally, and that takes a little while to do. So he's got plenty of time to do it. We will wait patiently until he comes to us.
Okay, just trying to work out where you are on my little map. He's not that far away from you, but you may get the car of Mads Osberg heading towards you first. So, out of that stage, then no dramas from what we could tell from the drivers who've already completed. Still many drivers within this stage overall. We've only got 9 drivers through so far. But Ogier really stamping his mark on the rally with that one. 7.9 seconds is now his lead over Danny Sordo. Petter Solberg in 3rd position overall. Will Danny Sordo be able to take some time out of Ogier on stage 16? When it was run as stage 12, that's where he reclaimed his lead earlier on. Let's just see what Sordo's time was in comparison to Ogier through there. Sordo was 13:28.1. It was the fastest time through. Ogier was 3.5 seconds behind that time.
Well, if we get a repeat of that, Bex, it's very much game on again for tomorrow. I reckon as long as Sordo doesn't lose time, and if he does lose time, if it's a second or so, there's still the opportunity. But I do think Sordo is just driving at a very, very comfortable pace. As he said, I'm driving more or less on the limit. You can't go over the limit, on tarmac, because you do and you are out. There goes Araujo. He's gone past without stopping to us. He's in a good position just now. Overall, he's having a really good rally, Armando Araujo, and he's had a couple of punctures this weekend, but Mads Osberg has stopped. How did his time look at the end of the stage, Bex? It was good on the split.
Yeah, it was looking good on the splits. He came through 5th quickest, 11:29.2.
Here we go.
Mads 5th quickest at this stage. You must be happy with that. Yeah, it's going quite well. We have a good rhythm and everything, so yeah, it's time-wise it's feeling quite well, but yeah, result-wise it's not a lot to do really. Sorted out that funny issue with the setup. Yeah, there was just one wheel was a little bit out, and on tarmac it's very sensitive on the toe-in, so that was why, and it's sorted now, so the car is feeling very well.
Yeah, big vibrations this morning for Mads Osberg when he was actually making his way to the first stage. Now that was my fear with Petter Solberg, actually. He had stopped for so long after the stage that he was going to have to push on to get to the start of the next one time, and that's what's happened. He's gone straight past us. Jules, did everything look all right there with that car?
That car's got more damage on the front than it had it before the start of the second stage. It had a little bit of a broken wing and things like that, but there's actually bits of bumper missing there.
Yeah, what was Solberg's time like in that stage, Bex?
Solberg's time, 4th quickest, 11:24.7. He was 7.1 off the pace.
Yeah, I think maybe he's hit a spike or something in there, and maybe he's been spending his time checking the suspension. Josie, a chance he might have damaged it. No, we're not sure. We're not sure, but a little more damage certainly to the bodywork on the front left of Solberg's, sorry, front right of Solberg's car. Certainly according to the guru, and the guru's the man that knows.
He is the man that knows. Okay, I know where you are now in terms of your road junction after this stage, so it's going to be Henning Solberg who heads towards you next. Now, Henning set a time through that stage of 11:35.4, 17.8 seconds off the pace. Now, he's battling a bit with Armando Araujo, and he was quicker than Araujo in that stage. And the difference between them is now 9.6 seconds. In Araujo's favour still, but Henning getting a little bit closer.
Okay, getting a bit closer, yeah. Giving Henning something to concentrate about. Actually, he was telling us at service he thinks he came very close to hitting a pig. Did you know that? Oh, Jules didn't know that. Yeah, a pig. Big black pig running across the stage in stage, what was it, stage 12, he thinks. Yeah. Pigs might fly and they might run on stages. Who knows?
Who knows? We're watching the car of Ivan Muller currently on the tracking system on the WRC TV live feed. The Peugeot 207 Super 2000 that he's competing in this year. It's glad to see that he's got a bit further than he did last year. We saw him compete in the Zara last year. He ran out of fuel.
He did after stage 4 on the way down to the remote service, wasn't it, down at Mulhouse?
It was.
He was very close. He was only 2.5 kilometres away, but yeah, running out of fuel. A miscalculation, unfortunately. Didn't put enough fuel into that Zara. But he did Super Rally. We saw him on day 2, and I think we saw him on day 3. Yeah, obviously a man who enjoys his rallying. He's from the Alsace region as well, isn't he, Bex? Seems to remember that from last year.
Yeah. I'm just going to look in the overall classifications and see where Ivan Muller is lying.
I think he may have Super Rally because he didn't come through to us at the end of the final stage yesterday.
Yeah, with the time difference we have here, definitely. He definitely Super Rallied yesterday. You know, on the Super Rally board already for tomorrow, we have Novikov, we have Hanninen, we have Julian Moran. Abadny says, Colin, we will not be seeing Chris Meek any further this weekend.
Okay, so quite badly damaged car then, I take it.
Not sure of the details, but the team will not. He will not be carrying on. Now, he did go off. It was the first stage this afternoon. He went off the road, quite a distance off the road, 30 feet off the road, we believe.
Ooh, right, okay.
They're both okay. Chris and Paul are fine, but bit shaken, we understand.
I'm sure they are. Oh, crumbs. Watch my toes, Bex. Gotta watch my toes. Okay, Henning Solberg's in. Henning in a nice battle there with Armando Araujo. Just under 10 seconds between you now.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not following but which position are we now?
Which position is it, Bex? Remind us.
He is.
This morning's work by Sebastian.
It's exactly what we asked him to do. To be strong, but safe. And in the second lap in the afternoon, push a little bit more and go away, but step by step, not as much. And this is exactly what we asked him, to avoid puncture, to avoid most problem we can avoid. And in this case, it should be okay for tomorrow.
So basically, from what you're saying, he's driving slightly within himself, but still got a battle with Danny Sordo, of course.
Yeah, but we know Danny is very fast on tarmac, but Ogier is not too bad, and the DR3 I think is really fast too. So Ogier has to take care because we don't want any puncture or any problem. But if he carry on like that, I'm sure it will be okay for tomorrow.
Okay, so you're very happy with that. If we can just cast our minds back to yesterday when we saw all the problems, of course, with Sebastian Loeb's car. The last thing we heard, it was going off to Paris for a diagnostic check. Can you tell us what you've managed to find out was the problem with the engine there?
There was, when we built the engine, somebody made a mistake.
Oh, really? You tell us more? Exactly what did you find?
No, it was 1 o'clock in the night. We will see, but we know it was a mistake.
But have you established what was wrong with the engine, and can you tell us what that was?
No, it was, we want to be back at the office.
I see. So nothing to compromise Sebastian Ogier's car?
No, nothing.
Okay. Just a thought then, with the remaining stages today, and of course we've got an entire day to go tomorrow, but if my mathematics is correct, if Sebastian were to win this rally and take the full 3 points in the power stage, there would be 1 point between your two drivers. It's an exciting prospect.
Yeah, and did you count what could happen with Mikko?
He could be level on points, I believe, if he finishes fourth, which I assume you're expecting Ford to do that for him.
So my problem is to take care of Mikko.
Yes.
Because
how are you going to do that?
Yeah, but because the boss drivers, the boss Citroën drivers, we know what to do, so there won't be any problem for me. But we have to remember the next rally, there will be one day on the gravel, and the last one will be RAC, and Mikko is really fast.
Okay.
So my problem is mostly Mikko Hirvonen than the battle between the two Citroën drivers.
All right, Olivia, thank you very much for now.
Thank you.
Very nice.
We're here live with David Richards at Mini. David, the big story of the afternoon, of course, is Chris Meek's exit. What can you tell us about that?
It's obviously a setback for the team and for Chris, but as far as we understand, the first stage of the afternoon, a fast fifth gear corner, gravel on the road, and just slid wide and went over a hedge and dropped about 30 metres down on the outside of the corner. So no way of getting the car back on the road, and we haven't seen the total extent of the damage, but with a short day tomorrow, it's unlikely he'll be back out again.
A big disappointment for the team, this? Are we putting it down to driver error?
I wait to speak to Chris before making any judgment on that myself, but obviously a disappointment for Chris more than anybody. He was putting up a very solid performance, first time here in the sort of World Rally car and holding fifth place and putting in times, very competitive times all round. So it's more disappointment for Chris, I would think, to gain experience and to gain a sort of a good finish.
Of course, Danny Sordo on the charge out on the stages still. That's a very positive thing for the team. But 7.9 seconds behind Sebastien Ogier. Is that a concern for you?
Well, 1 second behind is a concern. We'd love to be ahead, but it's a long way to go yet, and we'll keep pushing right to the very end. We're not here to finish second.
So the plan for the afternoon with Danny then?
Keep pushing.
Thank you very much, David.
Well, Ken, last time we spoke a little earlier today, you were a little bit deflated. After those past three stages, how do you feel now? Not quite such an eventful session, but he's still in that podium position.
Yeah, a little settled. Spoken to him at lunchtime at the remote service on the phone. Seen the boys when they come back. He's okay. He's in good form. Peter is that's the important thing. He more or less settled for third now. We're 42 seconds off second place, and we're 47 from fourth place, so we're in a safe third. Little disappointed still, deflated, but accepting it that for what we've got and where we are, it's very good. Danny is now seemed to exert his authority. Sebastien on Danny a little bit and taking time. So we'll let those two keep battling up in front and stay with them and make sure that Javi doesn't catch us from behind.
I suppose there is still the chance that particularly Danny will be pushing, because he would love to win this rally here. The more he pushes, the more the chances are perhaps he might be unfortunate or pick up a puncture or whatever.
Yes, both of them have a job to do. Sebastien has to win the event for Citroën in the home event, and Danny has to try to get a win, but also from David and ProDrive and BMW's point of view, he needs to bring the car home. Now that they've lost Chris Meek, it's the remaining factory Mini, so big responsibility on him to keep it on the road and bring it home. Sebastien to try and win the event, and us to try and catch them and hope that one of them makes a slip up. But it's getting into a little bit of a pattern now. But we've got two stages left today, the long one coming up now and then the short super special.
Just speaking to Olivier Canel, and he was saying that Sebastien is driving a little bit kind of cautiously to try and avoid picking up a puncture. Is it as simple as that, or can he not just get unlucky?
You can get unlucky just watching it on the screen if that's cautious. Big pace out there, and Petter knows, because Petter is pushing as well, and he knows it to stick with them. It's quite a pace. So a little unlucky if you catch a puncture. Yeah, I think they've got to drive. That's the one thing now. Keep the speed up, take the cuts where they can, but equally, none of them want to spin, none of them want to puncture, because we're there to capitalise on it, which is what we'd like to do. But at the moment, we're pleased to be in a podium position.
All right, Ken, keep up the good work. Thank you.
See you later. Thanks.
Now then, we're here with Malcolm Wilson, team principal of Ford. Malcolm, how's the afternoon first loop of stages been from your point of view?
Good. I mean, the pace has been good from Jari, but now we're in a difficult situation with Mikko because he really has to obviously just try and preserve. He can't really catch anybody else really in front of him unless they have a problem. So it's just a case of, you know, trying to preserve the position that he's in, and hopefully then that will put us in a good position going into the final two rallies.
You don't seem overly happy with the situation this weekend, Malcolm. How is it beginning to become a bit of a drag seeing your drivers where they are?
Yeah, I mean, it's I've got to be honest, it's not where we want to be, and you know, quite clearly the pace of Jari in the car is, you know, it doesn't deserve to be the position that it's in. But sadly, he made a mistake yesterday, and Mikko again made one. So you know, you have to pay the price, and if you look how close it is, I mean, it's just incredible now that all these guys are so close together. So the thing is that, you know, Jari would have been right in there with these guys fighting for the lead, and you can imagine it's a disappointment to the team. But at the end of the day, we're really happy with his pace.
And we're not used to seeing so much drama on an event, tarmac events in particular, but we're seeing a lot of jostling for positions, and Chris Meek just gone out, which is obviously a positive thing for Mikko. But tactical choice this afternoon then, does it look like at some point over the course of the rally you're going to have to hold Jari Matti back to promote Mikko?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, we did that in Australia because Jari's got no chance really of winning the Drivers' Championship. And let's see what happens the rest of the day. And but if it remains like it is, then for sure we want to try and give Mikko that best possible opportunity to try and find a way to win the Drivers' Championship on the final two rallies. And you know, even if we do that, it won't make any difference to our manufacturer's point. So we'll just want to really give Mikko the best chance we can.
Elsewhere under the Ford banner, there, of course, there's Dennis Kuipers up to 6th. How happy are you with his performance?
I mean, we've seen a big step in improvement in his performance throughout the season, and particularly on asphalt. We saw good performance in Germany, but then I think, you know, here I think he's just stepped it up another gear again, and yeah, really pleased for him, and just hope that he can manage to maintain that pace for the rest of the event.
But largely positive or negative event from your point of view so far?
Well, I suppose it's the positive is the fact that we're really, you know, we felt we came away from Australia being back in the championship hunt, and if Mikko can finish here, then it's definitely game on for the final two rallies. I mean, I think, you know, if it stays the way it is, then to be honest, you're going to have 3 drivers, I think, you know, because the other Sebastian's now going to be into the mix as well. So I would imagine you could even end up with 3 drivers probably within 2 or 3 points going into the final two rallies. So it's it's got to be fantastic for the sport, and what a climax to the end of the season.
Only the second tarmac event of the year, so how do you feel the progress is with the new Fiesta on tarmac?
We're really happy, I have to say. I mean, the pace, you know, if you think where we were with the two guys last year, then to come to tarmac rallies and just, you know, regularly do fastest times, then, you know, it's a great position to be in. But I think a lot of that as well is attributable to the new technical regulations that the cars are. I mean, it just goes to show that, you know, you've got 3 different manufacturers there now at the moment, and all 3 of them are doing fastest times. So that tells you, I think, that the technical regulations are in really good shape.
Thank you very much, Malcolm.
Izquierda 8.30, derecha 9.40, frenar, izquierda 2 lenta, 60, izquierda 7 a fondo, 40, derecha 9 a fondo, 20 fuera, derecha 8 a fondo, 50, derecha 7 en rasante, 30, frenar, derecha 1 lenta redonda, para, izquierda 8 a fondo, 40, izquierda 7 a fondo, 30 fuera, izquierda 8 a fondo, 50, 8 a fondo, 50, derecha 6 posible, a fondo poco tarde, posible ton, 30, frenar mucho, atención, izquierda 5 lenta corta, acaba para derecha 8 a fondo, 30, derecha 8 a fondo, se cierra 6 a fondo, posible tin fin, 40, confunde izquierda 9 en rasante para derecha, 6 corta, posible ton, 30, derecha 5 poco lenta carril y poco larga, tin, 30, izquierda 5 grava carril, poco lenta, ojo cuneta, se abre a 7 a fondo, 100, izquierda 7 posible a fondo, 40, frenar rasante y izquierda 4, 30, derecha 5 rápida posible ton, carril aquí, 50, derecha 7 a fondo, 20, frenar izquierda 7 corta, frenando 10, se cierra 2 muy lenta, para, derecha 6 corta a fondo, 30 vistos, derecha 8 corta a fondo, 10 fuera, derecha 6 rápida posible tin, 70 vistos, derecha 6 a fondo ton, acaba rasante 30, derecha 9 en rasante a fondo, 80, derecha 7 a fondo, 80 vistos, atención, frenar, derecha 3 muy lenta, 20 fuera, viene chicane, derecha 7 a fondo, para izquierda 6, se cierra poco posible tin, situar, 20, derecha 6 rápida, carril 10, izquierda 8 muy corta, se cierra 3 lenta, mucha atención cuneta. 20. Derecha 7 a fondo, 20. Derecha 6, corta a fondo, 50 fuera. Derecha 6, se cierra carril. Para izquierda 7 a fondo, Tin, acaba rasante. Frenando 10, derecha 4, lenta, ojo sucio, ras pronto. 80. Derecha 7, en rasante a fondo, se cierra poco. Para izquierda 9, Tom, acaba rasante, 60, pies, frenar, izquierda 5, se cierra 5, muy lenta, ojo cuneta, pies aquí, 5 muy lenta, ojo cuneta, la última, 60, derecha 7, 20, frenar, derecha 5, corta, poco lenta, 10 fuera, derecha 7 a fondo, 20 fuera, rasante, derecha 6, fin, 10, izquierda 7, fin, frenando 10, derecha 5, atención, carril fin, 20, izquierda 6 a fondo, Tin, 20 fuera, izquierda 6, rápida, ojo cuneta, se cierra poco, para derecha 8, posible Tom, frenar, izquierda 6, corta, poco lenta, atención, 100 vistos, izquierda 5, frenando, fin, situar 10, derecha 2, muy lenta, 2 muy lenta, 50, izquierda 2, poco lenta, se cierra poco, Tin, 10, frenar, derecha 3, lenta, se cierra poco sucio, fin, 50, derecha 8, frenando 10, izquierda 5, muy lenta, posible Tom, 5 muy lenta, posible Tom, 10, derecha 4, muy rápida, 20 fuera, derecha 6, 60, 6, 60, izquierda 7 a fondo, Tom, 40, frenar, izquierda 5, corta, Tom, 10, derecha 4, corta, carril, 20, izquierda 4, poco larga, rápida, se cierra posible Tin, 30, derecha 6 a fondo, Tin, 10.
Minus 30, 6 right, opens to keep left over crest, short boot comes 6 right, opens 40, Meek, rock 6 right.
80 mètres, droite 157, frein pour épingle droite 60 cordes. Et gauche à fond, 100 mètres, gauche 140 à fond qui ouvre, sur gauche 150, 100 mètres, droite 148, pas corde. Et 50 mètres frein, gauche 130, mini-mi-court. 130 mini-mi-court, 150 mètres. Droite 140, moins tard, corps de trace. 140, moins tard, corps de trace. 80 mètres, frein, droite 138, corps de trace. 138, corps de trace, 80 mètres. Droite 128, mi-long, corps de rail. 128, mi-long, corps de rail. 80 mètres. Gauche 128, bref, pas corde. 128, bref, pas corde. Sur gauche 130 à fond, mini. 200 mètres.
Frenar, chicane, izquierda, un segundo más. 20. Derecha 7, poco tarde, a fondo, 50. Frenar, derecha 5, poco lenta, para izquierda 7, a fondo, 60. Frenar, izquierda 5, lenta, 5.25. 5.28. Stage clear for Danny.
150 mètres. Gauche 130 bombes, pas corde. 130 bombes, pas corde. Pour à droite 130 mi-corps de gravette. Sur un frein avant gauche 132 qui ferme 90 plus pas corde, léger gravette. Sur droite 130 à fond, pas corde. 60 mètres, droite 130 à fond, corde 100 mètres. Droite 130 plus mi-long, corps de trace. Pour gauche 140 mi-long à fond, sur frein 60 mètres, droite 100 mi-long corps de tapis, 100 mi-long corps de tapis qui ouvre 120 mètres, droite 140 à fond mini, 140 à fond mini, sur gauche 150 cordes, 120 mètres, frein avant gauche 133, moins tard, ferme 110 plus, pas corde. 110 plus, pas corde, 100 mètres, droite 154, ferme 120 vite trace, 80 mètres. Droite 130 très vite, mini-trace. Pour gauche 143, frein. Sur droite 120, bon mi-long rail. 120, bon mi-long rail. 50 mètres, gauche 130 à fond, cordé. Gauche 140, moins pas corde. 140, moins pas corde. Sur droite, corde. Sur gauche 130, vite, mi-court. 200 mètres. Attention, frein avant gauche 135 plus mi-long qui ferme fort. Sur droite 90 mi-long. 120 mètres. Attention, frein, gauche 120, moins long qui ferme, ça va moins long qui ferme corde. Et gravier, droite sans bon long, gravier, droite sans bon long, corde de cheval qui ferme léger. 180 mètres. Frein gauche, 100 plus mi-long, pas corde, 100 plus mi-long, pas corde bosselée. Et droite 128, long trace qui ouvre à fond. 50 mètres, droite 130 mi-court, pas corde. 150 mètres, gauche 140 à fond, corde tourne et 80 mètres frein. Gauche 130 bon mi-corde. 130 bon mi-corde. Pour droite 130 mi-long, corde trace. 80 mètres, gauche 130 plus, très tard corde trace. 100 mètres, point 01, droite 140 à fond, corde.
Ytivasen 1. 50 vasen 2 pirun pitkä. 60 oikein 3 pimennossa älä tolppa. 30 vasen 5 hämää pidä. Meidänkin on kohta pysähtyneen. Eti oikein 1, 20 oikein 1 kirjaa 3 pirun pitkä 20 nyt oikein 4. 3 urat pirun pitkä 20 nyt oikein 4. 20 oikein 5 urat. 20 vasen 5 älä kivi urat aukeaa pitkä. Jotain näin voi. 150 vasen 2 seuraa ura 20 jarru nyt vasen 6 älä tolppa pitkä. 10 oikein 4 älä tolppa urat. 50 yli nypyn. Varo oikein 2 pitkä ja kuumasin 4 nypyn kautta kirraa 9. Oikein 2 älä tolppa. 10 oikein 3 miinus hämää älä tolppa. Etivasen 1. Jatku oikein 2 pitkä aukee urat yli nypyn. 30 yli nypyn. Nyppy keskeltä 100. Oikein 2 pikku suppu 50 jarru. Oikein 7. 50 jarru. Oikein 7. Jatku oikein 1 yli nypyn pitkä. Jatkuvasen 4 älä tolppa. Eti varo. Riisteys oikein 3 yli nypyn urat. Eti jarru. Yksivasen 7 älä kivi. 10 lyhyt oikein 3 vähän hiekkaa. 10 yli nypyn. Oikein 2 miinus urat. 50 oikein 3 älä tolppa hämää urat. Jatkuu varopasen 2 jarru pitkä. Heti oikein 7 älä tolppa varo soraa. 60 oikein 2 yli nypyn suppu. Heti nyppy oikealla se 30 jarru varo. Sen 5 kirraa 6 älä tolppa. Ahrat. 30 oikein 2 yli nypyn. Jatkuu oikein 5 älä tolppa urat. Jatkuu oikein 1 yli nypyn. 10 oikein 3 miinus yli nypyn. Älä kivi likaa urat. Jatkuu jarru. Vasen 2 älä tolppa. Heti oikein 5 älä tolppa urat. Jatkuu vasen 2. 10 vasen 2 älä tolppa. Heti nyppy oikein 2 älä tolppa. Heti vasen 4 yli nypyn. 110 vasen 4 pimennossa älä pidä. Heti oikein 7 älä tolppa. 40 vasen 6 älä tolppa pidä pitkä. Heti oikein 7 varo soraa. 10 oikein 1 pitkä jarru. 10 vasen 7 älä tolppa. Jatkuu oikein 4 urat aukee vähän pitkä. Jatkuu nyt oikein 4 älä kivi. Heti vasen 1 30. Vasen 2 miinus yli nypyn älä tolppa. 20 jarru vasen 5 sisältä. Heti oikein 4 älä tolppa pitkä urat. Jatkuu vasen 4 pitkä urat. Heti nyppy keskeltä. 30 oikein 2 miinus. 30 suppu jarru varo. Oikein 1 heti nyppy vasen 7 älä tolppa. 30 vasen 2 älä. 50 oikein 1 kirraa 2 pirun pitkä. Jatkuu vasen 1 yli nyppy kirraa olet minä urat. 20 soppu. Varo oikein 2 lyhyt, 20 jarru oikein 6 älä. 20 oikein 5 urat alussa aukeaa pitkä. 50 oikein 1 lyhyt. 30 160 7 älä tolppa urat aukeaa pitkä. Jatkuu oikein 5 älä tolppa kautta urat. Nyt oikein 5 älä tolppa kautta urat. 10 vasen 5 älä tolppa. 110 vasen 2 älä tolppa. Jatkuu varo oikein 2 miinus 20 jarru oikein 4 miinus urat. Heti vasen 5 älä tolppa. 40 jarru yli nypyn sikaani oikealta. 10 oikein 2 älä tolppa. 110 oikein 5 älä tolppa ahdas. Heti vasen 1. 60 vasen 6 älä hämää pidä. 80 maali, nyt vasen laita. 3. Vasen tosi hidas kivi, siis varo sisään tolppa. 5. Pitkä oikein nopea tiukka, aukee vähän. 4. Oikein K, aja suppuun tarkka. 120. Aivan se voi tiukka yli nypyn. Jarru 8, vasen nopea tiukka sisältä. Pidä 4. Pitkä oikein nopea, aukee vähän tolppa ja sora. Pidä 4. Vasen nopea, kirja vähän ura. Ja nyt pitää 6, oikein eri sisältä suppuun. Huomio, varo 7, nyt oikeanlaita jarru 3, vasen serppo tolppa. 100. Vasen loiva kivi sisällä, 120. Hae oikein täyskirraa pitkäksi loivas aukea ja pidä. Huomio, muista 6. Vasen aukea yli jarru 3, vasen eri tiukkaa aja. 7. Vasen jarru, lyhyt oikein K ja suppuun uran. 8. Huomio, oikein yli jarru 8, oikein hidas tiukka tolppa. 6. 5 ollaan peräs Jari. Pitkä oikein nopea menee ja aukee. 120. Oikein täys aukee yli nypyn. 100. Vasen täys, huomio, 160. Vasen serpo. Tolppa. Pidä 7. Oikein nopea tiukka kirraa tolppa. Uras. Pidä 6. Vasen nopea tiukka aja tolppa. 160. Lyhyt vasen täys miinus tolppa. 4. Oikein loiva aja, jarru 8. Oikein nopea sisältä pidä. Ja vasen nopea tiukka tolppa. Huomio, nyt oikea laita. Jarru 6, vasen oikein, vasen tosi hidas shikaani. 7. Oikein loiva, tolppa, huomio, 120. Oikein hidas kirraa vähän suppuun, tolppa. Huomio, 130. Vasen hidas tiukka aja, kivi sisällä. Ja maali.
Now, if you were with us last night, you know we came over to the WRC Academy service area and caught up with Craig Breen, who at the time was leading the Academy Rally France here. But unfortunately, as evidenced by the damage on the car there, he's now out. Craig, what went wrong today?
Yeah, you were speaking last night. I was in a lot better spirits than I am now. Unfortunately, I make a lot of mistakes in my time, but just Garrett, the co-driver, got a little bit caught out on a fast section coming downhill, and the note just came a wee bit too late at the end, and we just touched the bank on the outside and broke a shaft. But as I said, I've made plenty of mistakes. It was a very small mistake, but unfortunately, the pace we're at, you just can't do that kind of stuff. But we'll push on. Aegon has fallen into difficulty now also, so 20 points behind going into GB. It's still doable.
That's actually damage limitation for you, isn't it? As you said, your main title rival is also out, so at least it means you've got a bit to do, though. Just 20 points with just one rally to go at GB. So you fancy your chances there, or you feel you're the underdog?
No, we can definitely do it. You know, I've said it on lots of occasions. If I go to GP and don't have the faith, there's no point in turning up, no point in doing the recce, no point in these guys being here. I have to keep the faith. You know, 20 points, okay, it sounds a lot, but you know, there's 17 stages in the rally. To win every stage, you only have to get 3. So that would be a perfect situation. I know Rally GP very well. They've done it in the Super 2000 car last year and an R2 car the year before. So no reason why we can't do it. We just need to knuckle down, big preparation, and pull this all off.
You're only 21. This is what, your 3rd year of rallying. I mean, mistakes, to be fair to you and the rest of the guys here, that's part and parcel of the game, isn't it? The learning curve.
Yeah, the learning curve. Yeah, still on it. Still probably only at the bottom step of it. You know, yeah, mistakes. It could have had better timing, but you know, all respect to Gareth, he is a fantastic guy. You know, he's never ever, you know, let anything slip. So I have the utmost confidence that we'll be able to come out of here with our heads held high and push on the next couple of rallies.
It's great to catch up with you, and it's great to see youngsters coming through. We spoke to Phil Short last night, who said, you know, we're looking for future world champions here. What are your aspirations?
Again, you know, there's no point in me being here unless I want to be world champion. You know, you have to have that mindset from the word go. And you know, people on the other end of the television can be saying, "Oh, he's very cocky," but you know, there's no point in being here. I'm here to do one job, do the best, be the best, and you know, that's all I'm here for. Make it to the top and just keep on winning.
Well, look, you won't thank me for this, but would you just take us through the damage? Can we just have a little look at what actually happened when you went off this morning?
Well, as you can see, it's a little bit second hand, but when we touched the bank, it's just knocked the bottom arm back in against the body. Obviously the tyre can't move now, but apart from that, it's broken the drive shaft. You know, it's broken the cage on the CV joint. So we tried our damnedest to get it back going again. You know, if we could have got super glue to put it back together again, we would have. If we could have thrown our bodies underneath it, we would have. But it just wasn't going to happen. So we just got to move on.
And move on, you will indeed, as you say, in Rally GP. That's where we'll be keeping an eye out for you. So just one final thought on that. You'll be learning from this mistake, but you'll have to go flat out at the same time. That's the fine balance, isn't it, in this sport?
Yeah, but we were balancing it quite good yesterday, and this morning we had a problem with the brakes binding on the first stage, and we lost a lot of time on the initial part, and after that everything was fine. The stage that we went off on, we were up on the split. So if I can find a good rhythm like we had here in GB, there'll be absolutely no problem. We just all need to keep focused and hope everything goes well.
I'm sure you will. Well done. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
We're here with Nick Shorrock, Director of Michelin Motorsport. Nick, you're responsible for putting the rubber on these cars. How, from your point of view, has the tyre been performing this weekend?
Obviously, second time out for the asphalt tyre in WRC 2011. Big challenge, essentially on dry roads, but far from that. A lot of humidity this morning with the fog coming down, putting a lot of damp on the road, first of all. Secondly, a lot of gravel spraying back onto the road. So some of the steel spikes that have been put there to protect the gravel going onto the road, giving some trouble for drivers. We saw Chris Meek yesterday morning with a spike right through the front of his car, almost taking the radiator out. So really a whole host of things. Generally the tyres are performing well. Teams have got 2 choices this weekend. They've got a hard choice, a soft choice. We've seen a couple of teams trying to be adventurous and put a bit of strategy in there, going out on a soft choice. But essentially, teams seem to be working on the hard, and it's looking pretty good. Times are good, fast, and probably on an average faster per kilometre this year compared to last.
Now, we know you and the rest of the Michelin Motorsport team talk to drivers at the end of stages, or they talk to them at the end of the day in the service park. What sort of feedback have they been getting back about the tyres?
You always get great feedback, essentially, from all of the drivers, and the difficulty is trying to sift that through. People are going to talk to you. Yesterday, perhaps Chris Meek talking about the car starting to move around a little bit as the tyres got warmer, a bit more pressure in there and slipping around on the road. How does he get the stability back? And that's of interest for us, not right away, but certainly in all the development work we're going to do. Then you get Miko or Yarimati, Sébastien Ogier, Sébastien Loeb, talking about different aspects of road holding, the feedback they're getting from the tyre as it's going through the movements. And obviously the thing with the Michelin tyre is because it's sitting down firmly on the road, it does give this good feedback, and it does help drivers adapt their driving style to get the best out of the car and the overall performance.
Now, it's a tarmac rally, but of course these aren't exactly the conditions that you